You've got Wallow. We are here for you until 6 o'clock today with a very busy show. Brian Geltzeler from Critic.com, HoopsCritic.com. He'll join us at 3:30. We'll talk NBA, and I was pretty impressed, honestly, with all the commitments to go to the bubble. They're all going to go. Good friend of mine and Brett's, Craigway, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, will join us at 4 o'clock. And then we've been talking about getting Glenn Rogers Jr. on for a long time. We're going to ask him if he thinks he and his dad were the top father-son combination athletes at the University of Memphis. I think hard to argue that. Andy Schiffman, our agent, he comes your way at 5 o'clock from Chicago. And then at 5:30, the general manager, president of the Memphis Redbirds and the 901 FC, Craig Unger, will join us. The 901 FC was announced today, will be part of Group G in the USL sort of World Cup kind of format. They're going to have 16 regular season games and then on to the playoffs if you're in the one of the top two teams in your group. From the avenues of the America, a beautiful Forest City right there almost on the fault, or is it on the fault? Brett Norsworthy?
Right smack in the middle of it,
okay,
Dave.
Okay.
I am in the middle of the New Madrid Fault, which is Crowley's Ridge.
Yeah, I love Crowley's Ridge.
And Crowley's Ridge had a win today. Did you notice it?
Crowley's? Wait. You've got to explain that one to me. How does a ridge have
Put
a
your
win?
thinking cap on.
How does
Put
a
your
ridge?
thinking cap on.
Did you say
Check
win?
out who won the win. W-I-N. Sports.
Okay.
A sports win. A worldwide sports win.
So is this a horse
in
race?
In the Premier League, no less.
Really?
I love how they say it. The Premier League.
Yeah. Crowley's Ridge.
Forest City.
Oh, Forest.
Owner of Liverpool.
Okay. Yeah.
John Henry.
John Henry. I did not realize John Henry owned. They just broke a streak by taking the crown. How many years was it since Liverpool had won one?
You got
it was like 30 years or more. Wow, John Henry.
I got nothing.
On a roll. How about that?
Owner of Liverpool. They've locked up the Premier League.
Boy, he has ownership. Yeah, I mean, what a story he is.
He did pretty well, didn't he?
Why don't we have a movie? Seriously, I mean this. Why is there not a movie about this kid?
There should be.
From Little Forest City, Arkansas, that happens to own two.
Because smaller than that. Out past Burnt Cane. Out past Turkey Hill, his dad's nickname. It's smaller than that. Where he was reared. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know Burnt.
B-U-R-N-T, one word. C-A-N-E, the second word.
I don't even know of that. Have I ever passed that?
I don't
now?
know if it would come up on maps.
Burnt Cane. Wow. So
yes, you have. Yes, you have.
I have? When,
you have. I've taken you out there. I showed you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you.
Pretty good, isn't it?
One of my favorite parts of Crowley's Ridge now is where the golf course lies. Yeah.
It's smack in the middle. I mean, it may be the heart of rock and roll, to paraphrase Huey Lewis.
I will say this.
It really may be.
In all seriousness.
Well, in more ways than one.
Yeah. In all seriousness, that is the greatest gem that no one knows about, unless it's gotten more popular, and I haven't been there in over a year. But the ledges at Village Creek, or the ridges at Village Creek, it is a sensational 27 holes. Brett, I know. I need to ride it with you guys.
Well, you need to go when you guys play it.
Ride the 27 holes. Just go ride it.
I want to.
An hour, and you'll go.
I will.
Wow.
You guys. I'll watch y'all play.
Okay,
that's what I understand. I understand it is very, very, very nice. Well,
it is hard. Very, very hard, let me tell you.
That's what I hear. And the state of Arkansas trying to emulate, like a lot of places, the golf trail in Alabama.
No one's been able to do
Robert Trent Jones. Nobody's been able to do it. They got out there first and do the first. Sometime go the spoils. But you're right about the movie. I don't want to tee it up with Red Sox fans because it's not my team, but I am interested. I do like them. I do respect that history. And I know there are a lot of players, Papi Ortiz being number one, Manny Ramirez right in there, Kurt Schilling, Dustin Pedroia. The man that ended the curse of the Bambino and turned around the Titanic, it was John Henry.
Yeah.
Most important Red Sox person ever.
I hate to tell you, but you got to put another guy in there, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame because he ended two curses.
John
the curse of the Bambino and the curse of the Billy Goat. But Theo Epstein,
who hired him?
John Henry hired him in Boston. That's true. But Theo Epstein, you got to give him some credit.
I give him tons. But number one in ending the curse, the most fabled curse in the history of sport, the team that traded Babe Ruth, who then was accomplished ace and power hitter and box office bonanza, and it took them from 1918 to 2004 for it to end, and it took coming back and winning 4 straight against the Yankees in a 4-game sweep against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals were not even competition against them. I think John Henry will go to the Baseball Hall of Fame someday. Bud Selig's in it. He gives hope for all of us.
Yeah, John Henry's got a chance. There is no doubt. And I don't think he's.
Bud Selig's in the Hall of Fame. Man, that hurts to say.
I don't think John Henry's. I don't know about his health, but every time I've seen him, he appears to be a pretty healthy guy. I would say he's going to own that team for a lot longer, and there could be more championships still to come. No doubt about that.
Into perpetuity. He's got it set up for it will be owned by him or somebody bequeathed by him for forever. And he wanted to own the Cardinals. That was his team.
Sure. Stan
Musial was his guy, and he was in the final 1 or 2 or 3 groups with Bill DeWitt's group that got him and done a fantastic job with the Cardinals. And the guy that had the Royals for so long, the Walmart guy, is it David or Donald Glass? He's passed away, but he turned the Royals around. Whatever his first name is, Mr. Mm-hmm. Glass. I don't know him. He got a championship out of the Royals, but they were the final 3 groups. And Anheuser-Busch, I think, properly sold to the local group, and Bill DeWitt's done a great job. Bill DeWitt's been a better owner of the Cardinals than the brewery ever was.
I agree. It should have always been a St. Louis guy, and I wonder when John Henry was looking for a team. I'm thinking about timing here. I think it would have been about the right time. Was there ever any discussion with Avron Fogelman about the Royals when he was selling?
No. He had the Marlins, and then baseball loved him so much in his interest and his business acumen that they kind of shepherded him into getting into Boston. And then that's when baseball took over the Expos, moved them to Washington, and moved the Expo owner, what's his name, Loria, moved him to South FLA to take over the Marlins. No, John Henry had a small minority ownership stake in the Yankees. He owned about 7% of the Yankees for a long time. Baseball made him divest of that when he got the Marlins, because you can't have 2 pieces of the pie. You can't be in every bit of the ownership stakes. And he also for a while, I don't know if he does anymore, I think he put every chip on the table to get the Red Sox. He had a piece of the pie in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hockey.
Yeah.
But he has made it work, and in Liverpool, first time since when, Drew? I'm saying it now, 30
first time
years.
Since 1990.
So I was right. 30 years. That's what I said.
Man, they are partying there, don't you know?
Oh yeah.
And did you see the party on TV of it? Did you see them like actually partying in Liverpool?
I did not. I saw when they clinched and they all went crazy.
And it was no mask and it was no social distancing either.
No.
Of course, Liverpool a little bit famous for 4 lads from there.
Yeah, sure. That's what Liverpool is most famous for.
Have you ever been to Liverpool?
No. I will tell you. One part of Europe that I have not been to is the United Kingdom. I've never been to England. I've never been to Scotland. I've never been to Ireland. But you know what my dad used to say? You got to save something for later in life.
You sure do. That's right, Dave. That's right. You got to have a hook. You got to. I mean, if you check all that list off of top 10 lists, well, when you do one, a new one gets added. But eventually, either the cash or the list runs out. You got to save a little something. geographically, Liverpool, am I right that it is just west of London or decidedly west of London?
I have no idea. Since I blew Ann Arbor and
In Detroit. And you've been to both.
I have been.
But you can't remember that bus ride. That worries me, Dave.
Yeah, I know. You should. You should be very, very worried.
Liverpool is nowhere near London.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty
Help
far
me geographically.
northwest of it, right? Closest
Oh,
thing
really?
to it
Wow.
is Manchester.
So would it be Memphis to Kansas City northwest?
I wouldn't say it's
Well,
that far. Maybe
yeah.
Memphis to St.
Well,
Louis.
just check, see if it gives you miles or kilometers. You're going to get one or the other.
I would love to go over there and, do London, get in a car and just drive and make my way over a couple of weeks up to Scotland, through Edinburgh to Troon to Muirfield Village to St. Andrews. Man, I would love to do that. But
that
be
is
on the wrong side of the road the whole time.
It's on my bucket list, that is for sure. You would be. You got to get used to that. I actually have done that in other locales. It is confusing as can be. I mean, you got to make yourself think the whole time you're doing it.
You've driven on the wrong side of the road?
I have.
Is it odd?
It's very odd. In Spain, in Italy, in France, it's on the American side of the road. I believe I did it in a Caribbean country where I was on the opposite side, the English side. It must have been obviously under English control.
Have you ever been behind the wheel on the Autobahns?
No, I've not been to Germany either.
Boy, I'd like to do that and just open her up and take the top off.
Yeah, I would too.
Let it
that
rip.
would be a lot of fun. Now, if I was doing it in my G70,
Aston Martin,
I might be going 180. I don't know. That thing really flies. So
a buddy of mine. I'm sorry, Drew.
Have we got mileage?
It is 221 miles, approximately 4 hours.
Okay,
So a little
3
more
hours,
than Memphis. to
3
St.
hours
Louis,
for me for sure.
A buddy of mine who is a cardiologist and has done real well, and one of his treats to himself, he bought an Aston Martin. And I said, okay, I know why, because you can, but when are you ever going to get out and let it rip? He said, oh, I have. He said, I have.
Just out of curiosity, what do you think the price tag of an Aston Martin is?
I didn't want to, you just don't go there. I didn't ask him what he paid, but
We could go.
you know what they cost. You know what they're not giving them away.
I don't think
James Bond drove it for a reason.
I don't think it's the same price as a Lamborghini or a Rolls.
I just don't know. I don't know the high end because I knew it was
like,
never pertinent
the
to me.
best Googler on earth. Of course, he's young, but that's true. What do we got? What does it cost for an Aston Martin?
Just off the quick Google search, 146,000.
Oh, that's pocket change.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Pocket change.
That might be a low end one.
I'm telling
but
you,
if they
and
make
it
low end,
smelled so good. that leather in it just smelled so good.
It smelled like
got a lot of
money. Come
numbers
on.
today.
We do have a lot of numbers. Before we get to those numbers, though, we do have because of the COVID, we got some sad stuff. Morehouse College, that's historically black college university. It's a Division II school, but it's pretty well known. Morehouse is, and it decided no mas for the fall, no football, no cross country at all. They're going to try to wait. I don't know if they're going to try to play it in the spring. I'm not even sure which league they are in for basketball. Morehouse might actually be in Lemoyne Owens League. Trying to think about that.
Could be very historic college.
Yeah, but they pulled the trigger on football already, and I get this from our friend Brent Beard's notes. All 5 power conference now are considering pushing back the championship games by a week just so they buy some leeway.
Bowlsby
you
really
could
advanced
keep
that.
pushing
Morehouse
that
College,
back.
Dr. Martin Luther King's alma mater.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But you could keep pushing those conference championship games back as long as you need to. The only thing you're going to interrupt are going to be some of the early bowls, which could also be shifted around if need be.
You want to give away a 6-pack of barbecue to the Germantown Commissary on Morehouse College Trivia?
Sure.
Or Collierville Commissary?
Sure. You want to do that right
360 right now. 360-8255. Our first at 67129, the First Bank text line. First Bank phone line, 360-8255. Tell me the Morehouse College alum that was a MVP of the World Series.
Morehouse College alum MVP of the World Series. Huh. Somebody's going to Google.
Some said it was
Morehouse
a miracle.
College alums quick, and they'll find it fast. Some said it was a miracle. That is a big hint.
that they won it that year.
360-8255. Let me tell you about Germantown Commissary and Collierville Commissary. Let me tell you for certain, no miracle, just a lot of hard work from Walker Taylor and all the people that are working for him. They never closed. They always kept it going during the pandemic, and they're inviting you to come back in. And I felt so secure and safe and social distance and still welcomed. I mean, really welcomed when we ate there a week ago, today, in fact, with Andy Schiffman. That was a great culinary experience. We were on their patio, and I should point out there was a really nice story. I think it was Jennifer Biggs in the Daily Memphian, because, you know, everybody's doing now things on patios. Patios are really being built up by the restaurants. That's the newest thing. Everybody wants to eat outside, so you're finding parking lots are becoming outdoor patios. You're finding street fronts are becoming outdoor patios, and that's smart. And until it gets really too hot, it's a beautiful way to go. But the commissary in Collierville's got a great one. I mean, it was built with a lot of space because they're going to have bands out there, and you could go on a Sunday and enjoy your favorite beverage and all that. But they've had that thing since it opened. They were way ahead of the game like they always are. And we had the shoulder, and Andy Schiffman still eating the salad that he started. I mean, it was absolutely
we might have to get an update.
Huge. And you can take that home if you want to. Again, you can go in, you can take out. If you're in Collierville, you just go through the drive-through. If you are going to the original, that's in Germantown, the little quaint area. That one you will get curbside. Call in advance. Give your credit card number. It's really easy. Or go inside, especially with all the space they have in Collierville. You're going to love it at the Germantown and the commissary from Collierville.
We've got a winner at the First Bank text line, 67129. Drew, get with him or her, call them, text them back, let them know. Don Clendenin. And Dave, there's a sports trivia game on the internet where I like to go play sports trivia. And it first time I ever played it, lists all the World Series MVPs. The World Series didn't start awarding an MVP until the mid to late 50s.
Really?
Right. And so it's not, it hadn't been that long. It doesn't go back to, like 1920 or something. And for that year that the Mets won it, I would always put in Tom Seaver, and it wouldn't pop up as a correct answer. I'm going, I know I'm right. I was wrong. It was Don Clendenin in that win for the Mets over the Orioles. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. You don't need one of those expensive Aston Martins. You can go to Lexus of Memphis and get a car just as good, if not better. And they smell great, too. 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity late June into July, into the 4th of July sales event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is the COVID story. I actually thought this was a good sign. 5% of all the NBA players that were tested when they all came back, only 5%. So that's 302 players, 16 tested, including, and we already knew about Malcolm Brogdon. We knew about Jokic. Buddy Hield was among 3 positive guys from Sacramento. That may have been the team with the most, Sacramento. Although this around the country is a day where we've had some explosions. Florida has had nearly 9,000 cases in one day. We go south of Florida. We go to Panama. Roberto Duran, who's now 69 years old. No Mas is 69 years old. That's hard to believe.
Bet he's still tough.
He's got the COVID, but they said he didn't have really any severe symptoms. You know he's in shape.
He'll kick COVID.
And in listening a little bit to the press conference with Mike Pence and Dr. Fauci and Dr. Bix today, we are finding out that really and truly the majority of those who struggle from this are older than 80 unless they've had some underlying conditions. And that came from her today. We did have 2 more withdrawals from the Travelers. Denny McCarthy has COVID. He was playing with Bud Cauley. So Bud said, that's too close. I'll withdraw to make sure it's good for everybody else.
Good for the tour.
I had 2 players that didn't withdraw, but they didn't make the cut. They didn't have an excuse. I don't understand what's going on with my picks.
The bagel.
Bagel, yeah. Texas Tech football team, they had 197 tests. 23 turned out to be positive. That's 12% of the Texas Tech football team. And I don't know if that is as they just joined or if this is coming after they've been together for a little bit. Shelby cases way up again today. I hate to say it, 157 new cases, 2 new fatalities. Now we're at 8,840 total and 178 fatalities, but we have had 6,110 have recovered. Yesterday we had 1,400, almost 1,500 tests, 1,482, 10.6% positive. The hospitalizations, we're trying to keep up with that a little bit better now. 84% of the acute care beds are occupied. 83% of the ICU beds are in use. But as we heard yesterday, only about 25% of the ICU beds were being used by COVID patients. Nonetheless, we are under the yellow label now. If it's under 80%, it's green, but being 83 and 84%, they are labeled now as yellow. In Tennessee, a bad day, 1,400 new cases, over 38,567 fatalities. In Mississippi, where we are really starting to soar, 25,066 with over 1,000 deaths now, 1,022. And in Arkansas, 18,000 cases, 240 fatalities. In the United States, we're over 2.5 million, 2,530,000, and we are over 127,000 fatalities. We've had 1,055,000 recoveries, 31 million tests, so over 10% now have been tested worldwide. We are getting close to 10 million cases. The dashboard says 9,815,000. We're close to 500,000 fatalities, 494,000 who have passed. We've had over 5 million recoveries. And you remember, I'm keeping an eye on the vaccines. And for a long time, it was like 128 vaccines. What do you think we got now?
242.
Oh, no. 149. 149 vaccines being worked on. It was like 128 forever. It's steadily going up. And, you know, Dr. Bix again today mentioned treatments, just like Dr. Jane did earlier in the week. And between the steroids and remdesivir, it appears we're figuring stuff out. Plus which now they recognize quicker what they have to do and get the more proper applications to folks, and they treat younger people differently than they would treat older. And so we're getting to this quicker, and that is why the fatalities are not as bad. But if you do look at it, the United States has over 25% of the fatalities of the world.
Yeah, and yesterday the CDC put out that they said that the antibody tests show that there are likely 10 times the number of cases as tests have shown. So that would make the overall survival rate in the United States 99.5%.
That is encouraging, and the fact is that if you're asymptomatic, which is what we're referring
I'll take
to here,
99.5.
yeah, I mean, and what you're referring to here is if we've got that many cases and we've got that many antibodies, how far away are we from herd immunity? You have to be at 65 to 70%, right? I mean, that's what it's got to be. But you would think we are inching up there if we have that many cases that we really don't know about that we figure are asymptomatic that have developed antibodies. Isn't that what herd immunity is all about?
Yeah, my top story, very similar to yours at the beginning, 16 out of 302 in the NBA. That's 5.2% positive. Around 8 out of 1,300 so far on the PGA Tour. That's about 0.6%. And 2.5 million nationwide out of 31 million in cases. That's about 8%. So we're on our way to no sports with those numbers trending in that direction. The next lockdown, it feels like it is coming soon, and because we're trying to do something that is impossible to achieve. We're trying to bat 1,000.
Well,
99.5, not good enough.
I don't think we're getting close to being closed down again, and I'll tell you why. I listened to Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States today, who made a big point that 37% of the states were doing really well. He mentioned the 3 states, Florida, Texas, and California, that are still struggling a little bit, but there was no hint at all from the Vice President today that there was going to be any closing down of anybody's economy, even in those 3 states.
Not top story of the day.
Well, this is kind of sad, but it's okay. It's another retirement of a high school coaching legend. At least in my mind, he is a legend, and that is Ed McDougal, the golf coach at White Station High School, who sent me a text earlier that it's time to take a breather, to step back a little bit. After 35 years of coaching and teaching, he is going to retire. He will still work with the White Station golf team. I don't know if he's going to remain their coach, but will still work with some of them. He's going to give lessons on the side and take life a little bit easier. Eddie McDougal, a big salute to you.
My not top story for is forceful, optimistic, resolute, pragmatic, even keeled, as Jay Monahan's Tuesday presser was. If they have anything resembling a bad outbreak, or if it has to shut down, his Tuesday presser will be damning for him. The after-the-fact crowd will, as all the kids say these days, they will roast him.
I can't imagine that. I mean, even if indeed they do end up with too many cases where they have to go, okay, no mas. No pun intended for Roberto Duran, who just got it. But honestly, what he said was true. We have to learn to live with this. It's not going away anytime soon. And if we want to continue with life, we have to have protocols, procedures, and he's doing just that. And he did say everything is fluid, and he would change if he had to. I don't know if there's anything you could roast him for. I know this. Drew's going to roast me if we do not take our time out. Brian Geltzeiler is right around the corner. We'll talk the bubble in Orlando with the man from NBA's hoopscritic.com next.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
This is Dave Wolf, President and General Manager at Southland Casino. I want everyone to know that Southland is ready to welcome you back. We have a new program in place to help us all stay safe. So if you're ready to play, the most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South is open for you. Blackjack is live, the slots are rolling, and our clean team is on the job. So make this short trip to Southland Casino. Together we'll play it safe.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Hey, clones, you've heard me talk about Walmart delivery before, but now Walmart has the fastest delivery service yet. Walmart Express Delivery. Get groceries and more delivered from their door to yours with no contact delivery in 2 hours or less. Zero markups. Same low price as in-store. Don't let work, kids, an at-home workout, or whatever else life throws at you right now get in the way of getting what you need when you need it. Try Walmart Express Delivery today. Restrictions and fees do apply.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhammer for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Lots of vehicles to choose from at Sunrise. Trucks, SUVs, late model used cars, and cars under $10,000. Rebates up to $6,500. Interest rates low as 0% and immediate financing available. Come on in, call, or go online to sunrisememphis.com. You can schedule an appointment, select your vehicle, appraise your trade-in, arrange financing, and delivery. We'll deliver right to your doorstep. All cars disinfected and ready to go. Need service or body work? Bring it to Sunrise or go online to schedule an appointment. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
I've got a snack that'll add a little kaboom to your keto diet. Or would that be keto boom? Either way, Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavor that outshines other low-carb snacks. And if keto's not your thing, you'll still love the high protein these rinds deliver. Flavors like Korean kimchi barbecue, honey chipotle, pineapple ancho chili, and more. Visit porkrinds.com to find your flavor boom.
Visit your local Kroger today for your Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Welcome back in. Wolo and Stats working our way through this Friday afternoon. And really and truly, when I looked at those COVID numbers for the NBA, you and I both had it as one of the top stories of the day. 16 out of 302. Could you ask for anything better than that?
I don't think you could, Dave, and I don't think it's anything at all to be alarmed about. We knew it was going to there were going to be positives when we had positives with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and Kevin Durant, and they all got fine.
They did. And in listening today to the press conference I was referring to with Dr. Birx and Vice President Pence, he basically, when we was talking about this, he said, I know we have had a tremendous amount of increase in cases, and I mentioned those treatments earlier, but he said, one of the bright spots, if you're going to talk about it, is over 50% of the increase in these cases are all from people who are under 40 years of age. They're from 25 to 40, basically, in that range.
They can most endure it.
And they are the ones that absolutely can most endure it. So it is always a pleasure to talk with our friend from hoopscritic.com, Brian Geltzeiler, who joins us now. And we were just talking, Brian, when you heard the news today that only 5%, or we're talking 16 out of 302 players who are headed down to the bubble, only those 16 guys were the ones that had the COVID. And by the way, they'll go right into a quarantine for, I guess it's at least 7 days. And then, if they have a couple of tests, they have to take 2 tests and get negative from those 2 tests, then they're eligible to play again. I mean, now they'll all be ready to go. You would think that's pretty good news for the league, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the system's working. This is how the system's supposed to work. The league did understand something. The league didn't think they were going to test 300 players and get 300 negative tests. I mean, they understood that positive tests were going to come down the pike. And I mean, we already knew that a couple leaked earlier in the week. You have a handful of guys on the Sacramento Kings, Buddy Hield, Alex Len, Jabari Parker. You have Nikola Jokic, you have Malcolm Brogdon. There's guys that were going to test positive. You knew that was going to come, and this is how the system's supposed to work. So anybody with a positive test that's coming into the bubble now has got to be quarantined and can't come into the bubble until they test negative. But understand something: the concerns regarding entering the bubble are not based upon other players or team personnel. Like all of that stuff, the players realize that the league has put a system in place, and nothing's going to be foolproof. But the system in place is a good, solid system. It really is, and it's something that the Players Association and the rest of the league have confidence in. What they're worried about with the bubble is the employees that work for Disney and the hotels that are going to be coming in and out. That is what their large concern is. So again, today's news, it's positive news for the league. But in the end, regarding the concerns that the players have, this is not where the concerns lie. This is all the system that the league put in place doing its job and working as it's intended to.
Brian, it is very easy in anything, and especially with this, to backseat drive and Monday morning quarterback and be part of the I told you so crowd. But I want you on the record to state what your opinion is from the beginning of the bubble. Should it be the bubble? And when we say bubble, this is large bubble, a veritable city or cities. Should it be that way, or should they have tried the restart back in home gyms, in a home arenas like the Premier League and a lot of European soccer places?
Or baseball?
I don't think so. I like this. I think for what you can't. Here's the problem with comparing where the NBA. The only league you can compare the NBA to right now is the NHL, and the NHL is doing it their own way too. I like what the NBA is doing because ultimately you don't have a lot of regular season left to play. You really didn't. And cutting this regular season short under these circumstances by however many games they're doing it, by 8 games, by 10 games, it is utterly meaningless in the bigger picture. But by putting everybody together here in a bubble, they're going to be able to not have travel concerns, to play more games in a short amount of time. And they're going to be able to, the league is going to have control and responsibility to keep everybody associated as safe as possible. And I think from a league standpoint, they wanted to have that control. And I mean, that was very important. You have to understand something about the NBA's role in this entire pandemic and what it's meant to the U.S. The NBA has operations in China. The NBA was preparing for this pandemic to hit the shores in January. They believed that it was coming and coming soon. There's no coincidence that the NBA was the first sports league to suspend operations 1 hour after a player in an arena tested positive. 1 hour. They suspended operations indefinitely, and everybody else followed suit after that. The NBA has taken a leadership role here. They want to be able to control this process to do the best that they can to keep a catastrophe from happening. By the same token, they want to get started with their season again. And ultimately, none of us are stepping into a society that's riskless right now. So the thought that you could have a bubble that mitigates all this risk for all the individuals involved is not it's not realistic. It's not realistic in any walk of life right now. And I think what the NBA is doing is maybe protecting players, maybe better than any other professional sports league's doing it at this point.
I think
that's so well said, Brian.
If I've heard anybody taking swipes at the NBA, it is the perceived money grab of doing these 8 final games so they can, and I don't even think they're trying to hide this, that they can satisfy the 70 games for the local TV partners to get their revenue stream out of those partners. And I'd sort of disagree with that because I do think they will create actually better numbers for those television partners, those sponsors, than they would have gotten maybe down the stretch of the regular season, because all these 8 games for a number of teams are really critical.
That is correct, and I totally agree with that. First of all, you got to understand a couple things. What the NBA didn't want to do was bring teams back and immediately start the playoffs. They didn't think that was fair to the players. They didn't think that was fair to their fans. because the product early on, guys, is not going to be the prettiest product in the world. It's going to be sloppy play. It is. So by having these 8 games, you satisfy a couple things. Yes, you take care of all of this regional TV revenue, and that matters. And I think the important thing to say when you hear people associate the NBA with the term money grab, I think that's a way overly simplistic, unfair characterization to put on the league's decision to continue the season in this format. This is not a money grab as much as it's the entire financial structure of the league is in jeopardy if you don't do this. If you don't do this, listen, the owners can tear up the CBA right now with the force majeure clause. They're not necessarily going to do that. There will be some tweaks and changes after this season, but the players have been assured that if they come back, the financial system is going to be largely the same way, and whatever losses they have to bear here for the missed games are going to be able to be spread out over a couple of years, and everybody's going to kind of be made whole in the end. So you talk about a money grab, it goes well beyond a money grab. The financial structure of the league will blow up, and the league may change in a way that you never see it change back to. So the league is, Adam Silver's doing exactly what needs to be done, because in the end, and I know people don't like to hear this, you got risk anywhere you go, but the money matters. The money matters. The league is a high revenue generating league. Players get paid a lot of money, and we know one thing about whether it's players or people in society, whoever you want to say, once you're getting paid a particular amount, no one likes taking less. And taking less is what they've had to do here, 25% less. And listen, no one's playing any violins or starting any GoFundMe pages for NBA players right now, taking less money. That's the reason I'm saying it. But the point being is that the financial model, they want to be able to keep this financial model in place. And here's the other thing that you also have to understand. There's no guarantee there's going to be people in the stands when they start again next season. So whatever money they can make right now to wrap up this season and crown a champion in this bubble format is going to go forward to helping the league be able to sustain maybe some future losses that they have if we end up with coronavirus hanging around a lot longer than any of us want.
Our guest is Brian Geltzeiler. He's from hoopscritic.com. You can follow him on Twitter at hoopscritic, and the schedule will be revealed at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, and we love schedule release night. Usually comes in August. We're going to get one now. We'll get one in a few more months, Brian.
Yeah, listen, schedule review. It's fun, and it'll be interesting to what we see. I do believe that the first game we see on July 30th in that bubble is the Clipper-Laker game that TNT lost when Kobe Bryant passed away. If you remember, I guess 5 days after Kobe Bryant passed away, there was supposed to be a Friday night Laker-Clipper game on TNT that the league chose to, and rightfully so, chose to postpone because no one really felt like playing that game. That, I think, is going to be the first game we get out of the box to try to generate a little bit of excitement for everybody being back, and that'll certainly be fun. Whatever happens from there happens. There's going to be, a lot of games played in a short amount of time come July 30th, and I think we'll kind of see some jockeying for seeding. I'm very interested to see what happens with the little play-in series. I think we're almost locked to get one in the West. We're not likely to get one in the East, but to see how that operates and that works, and the league's experimenting a little bit there. But, players will be getting their legs underneath them. It'll be interesting to see, what kind of adjustments players make to not having fans in the stands, what kind of adjustments players make to, let's face it, physical contact and having guys sweat on you and that kind of stuff. That's, we're a different society than we were when this league went dark on March 11th. So, from that standpoint, it's going to be very interesting to see players stepping back into a playing situation with the knowledge of everybody having gone through this coronavirus experience as a world together, and see how that affects the way guys play the game.
How do you think, as we see this thing in about 2 hours and 15 minutes or so, when they release it, is it going to be strictly the way it would have been? Or when you were going to play a team that's not there, they're going to skip over? Will they try to make more competitive games in regards to the end of those divisions to establish 8 and 9 seeds? Will they try to play you in your grouping more?
I think that what they're going to look to do here is look at who's played who in the league and try to see if they can even things up a little bit especially for teams that are competing for seeding in the same playoff spots. So if you were scheduled to play a team, 4 times and you only played them 3, you'll get them once. I think they're going to try to fill in those kinds of holes the best they can, and then kind of just schedule out from there. It's good. One thing I promise you, it's going to be imperfect. It's going to be imperfect. There's no way they can get it 100%.
Welcome to 2020.
Right. Correct. Somebody's going to feel screwed. That's what's going to happen. But in the end, it's going to be a best effort for everybody involved. One of the things that they've done here that I absolutely love is giving the high-end hotels to the higher seeds. I know that the players were one of the players wanted Vegas. They did not want Disney for this. But ESPN wanted Disney, and ESPN, has had a lot of money from all this, so they got what they wanted. But players, in Vegas, no one was worried about what hotel they were staying in. In Disney, the pecking order is a little bit different. So I love the fact that the higher seeds got the best hotel, the second group of seeds got the second best hotel, and then the other teams are in the yacht club. And not that the yacht club's a bad place to stay, but it's a 20-year-old hotel. So from that standpoint, I think that the league did a nice job in terms of how they line that up.
Just goes to show you
Brian,
that you never know in just about a name, because the yacht club to me sounds like it would be the best.
Sounds good to me, Dave. I'll take it. I take the yacht club, Brian. I could stand a month there, even if I had to be tested very often. Yeah. An untidy story popped up this week here locally. I texted you the broad parameters about it. I knew you were already plugged in, though, about some language in the Grizzlies deal here with FedEx Forum and the viability of the franchise here. We don't think it will be enforced here, but it sure makes people nervous, as we've kind of always had that looming over us from day one of the Grizzlies moving here. It is sometimes felt like not an eggshell existence, but they might be looking to get out. And then ownership changed from Mike Heisley, who was rock solid, to Robert Parra, that nobody here really knows him. I don't even know. I would doubt very many of the Grizzlies employees really know him. I don't think he's let many people really get to know him, but he's done very well.
Yeah,
the
50,000
foot view. 9 billion. Well, the 50,000-foot view from you, Brian, you're in the New York City area, and kind of the national view of Memphis. If Memphis could move, and if they did, what do you think is the destination that the NBA wants to get a team in this city at some time? Where?
Let me start with just my personal opinion here, Brett, because I think it's the fans of Memphis are fantastic basketball fans, and the way the city is connected with the teams when the teams have been really good, I think is special. I really do. When you had Zach Randolph and Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, and especially a guy like Zach, who embodied the personality of the city. And people, looked at Zach Randolph and identified with him because of his workmanlike approach to the game and just the feel that you have in Memphis from that. I think that's a special connection that a city and fans have to a team and to players on a team. So what I'm about to say is in no way an indictment of the great fans of Memphis, who are great fans. The reality is this, and this has been a reality from the jump, and this is why when you say you always felt like the city of Memphis has been on eggshells, it's a small revenue TV market. And what's happening here, you're seeing how important TV is to this league, especially highlighted during the coronavirus pandemic. Because the reality is this, the TV money carries the day. And yes, attendance is great and being able to sell concessions and merchandise and all that. But the bottom line is TV money rules the day. And I don't know that Robert Parra has any kind of emotional connection to the city with this team. And I do know that he has a desire to make this as viable a financial business as he possibly can, regardless of the $9 billion he's worth. So when you look at the Grizzlies being a small TV market, then there's something else you have to consider here. The travel aspect of the Grizzlies being in the Western Conference, only because the Grizzlies they were in Vancouver, we're a West team there, and there's really more teams on the eastern side of the country than there's the western side of the country. So Memphis ends up being a spillover into the West, but that also creates in a league where a lot of people are complaining over the amount of travel that needs to be done. It's a pain in the butt travel-wise as well. So I think that there's a significant chance that Robert Parra is going to be successful in being able to move the Grizzlies, because there's also two markets out west that are dying for NBA teams that are bigger TV markets and certainly are markets the NBA would like to be in. One is obviously Seattle. It's a wrong that the league did that they would like to right. And you noticed yesterday, Amazon's working on an arena there, a big upgrade of an arena there that they're putting their name on. So that certainly is going to have a lot of money put into it. That could have something to do with some of this. And the other market is Vegas. And Vegas has become the unofficial home of the NBA, hosting Summer League every year. It's a place where players love to go and spend time. It's not far from LA, which is, a large percentage of NBA players have vacation homes in LA. So Vegas is the other large possibility where that's a real growing area out there. Not the hugest TV market in the world, but you got the Golden Knights. Now you have the Raiders. And, listen, they're willing to put a brand new building up there for an NBA team as well. I think Seattle's the more likely destination. That's if the Grizzlies leave. But unfortunately, I think Robert Parrish is looking for a better financial deal than what I think he's getting in Memphis. And I think that's very unfortunate for some great, great Memphis fans.
Well, not so fast, my friend, because there is a clause in that contract that if he does indeed try to move it, the local ownership that he brought in when another Los Angeles guy, Steve Kaplan, was bought out, they put up the money. They have the right of first refusal on buying it from him, not at the value of the franchise, which would hurt him. It would be at the amount that he has invested in the team. And I don't think they're going anywhere, at least until this initial lease in 2029 is up. That's just my opinion. Brian, you are always incredible to listen to. We enjoy it. As soon as we start in Orlando, I know we're going to have you on again.
You got it, guys. It's always my pleasure, and I'll talk to you both soon.
That is Brian Gelsiler. He knows his stuff. We're late for a break. Back in a minute to put a wrap on hour number 1 on this Friday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
R&R on Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1. Don't miss us.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Oh, hi. Okay, guess we should talk about something. Kind of tough to be put on the spot. Not sure what to say. But I know what I'm definitely not talking about. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
When you have frequent heartburn, antacid relief only lasts for a few hours. Prilosec OTC stops heartburn before it begins and lasts a full 24 hours. Its unique delayed release formula blocks heartburn at the source. With just one pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn protection. Make the switch today. Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Noseworthy.
Welcome back in, Family Leisure. Don't forget, we're in the studio. You need to get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Call in advance. Make an appointment. Meet one of the salespeople outside. They'll come out. They'll get you. You go in. It's beautifully spaced. And make your backyard your vacation place this summer. A lot of us not a little leery of traveling. Some is not going to do it at all. But they can have a pool, an above-ground pool. They can have a swing set. They can have a spa. They're going crazy at Family Leisure. They really are having one great spring and summer complete pool packages. They start as low as $1,600. Under that, 24-foot pools under $2,000. Same price for a spa, $19.99. The swim spas, the big ones, under $10,000. I mentioned swing sets. How about a $34.99 swing set down to $21.99? And I'm telling you, it is something to behold. Go. They offer contactless purchasing. I already mentioned the procedure. And then once you've picked out what you want, they'll either bring it to you curbside or deliver it to your house. It is the way to go.
Dave, we'll talk about it more in about an hour, but I think, last summer we had trouble with ESPN.com knowing that Taylor Jenkins was the Grizzlies coach. This summer, I'm afraid Joe Lunardi doesn't know UConn's no longer in the AAC because another mock bracket revealed he has 2 from the AAC, Houston, and I think he's counting UConn. I can't find the other one. Can you, Drew?
I sure as hell can't.
Well, he lives in Philadelphia, which is an American Athletic Conference city. You'd think, for goodness sake, that he would know. The guy is
works for St. Joe's, so he knows the people at Temple well.
I know. I don't understand how he could not know that. I really don't. He's too smart for that, isn't he? Hey, we all overlook sometimes little details or forget a name here and there. But that's at least, you would think you would get that by the second week because or the second month. He's had this for a while the same way. But how long did they have that? As you just mentioned, they had the wrong head coach for years, for a long time. That's an hour in the books, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we will head to Austin, Texas, which is struggling a little bit right now with the COVID. The longtime voice of the Texas Longhorns is Craig Way, and he's our friend, and he is next.
What's the number one sign of a bad home security system? One that's so complicated you never use it. This is exactly the type of security system SimpliSafe has spent a decade fighting against. SimpliSafe was designed to be easy to use while protecting your home 24/7. Order online with a click of a button. It's really that easy. Head to simplysafecolin.com. Get free shipping too and a 60-day money-back guarantee. SimpliSafeColin.com.
Start your day at Sunrise Memphis. Located in Midtown, enjoy delicious biscuit sandwiches and all their menu has to offer with quick and easy to-go and delivery options. Whether it's breakfast, brunch, or lunch, don't distance yourself from great food. For more information on Sunrise Memphis, visit sunrise901.com or call 901-552-3144 to place your order. Stay healthy and eat Sunrise Memphis today.
Hey everybody, are we ready for some hot fun this summertime? Cause I'm out here in Olive Branch looking at all these new All-Star Chevy trucks. You've got more new Silverados out here than you'll find anywhere and for a lot less. Some still have 0 interest for 84 months with GM financing or thousands in cash back for summer. If it's a new Chevy you want, Olive Branch is where you want to be. Come drive one of the new Blazers or Suburbans or just drive both. You can fall in love with more than one. Finance with GM and you could be payment free all summer. And everybody at All-Star Chevy is excited about their pre-owned Chevy collection. It's huge. I'm looking at Tahoes, Malibus, Impalas, Suburbans. They have everything the new ones have, warranties and all, just thousands less. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. And everyone at All-Star Chevy has one job: to make sure you get the best deal, have more fun, and in record time. So find new roads to Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
I'm John Conway with Conway Services. Do you have to add Freon to your air conditioner every summer? Good news, it's Super Tune-Up time at Conway Services. We'll come out and perform our exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69 with a Freon leak check. That's right, Conway Services exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up for only $69 with a Freon leak check. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. If you have an air conditioner that leaks Freon every year, with Conway Services Super Tune-Up, we'll include a leak check at no charge. If that's not enough, we'll treat your unit with a special Teflon coating to help protect against the hot Memphis sun. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. Call this week and we'll perform your Super Tune-Up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in hour number 2. On a day, well, I think you could say the bright news is the NBA did all the COVID testing for everybody, all their players, getting to the bubble in Orlando. Out of the 302 players, only 16, 5%, had the COVID. And they'll be ready to go when you take a look. And I should point this out. The protocol for the NBA will, if you have a positive test, and they will be testing every night. If you have a positive test, you are immediately put into isolation for a 7-day quarantine, and then you must have 2 straight negative tests before it will be you'll be eligible to return to action. And so if we're talking 7 days, they've already done that. They're not even close to getting to Orlando. Through that protocol, everybody should be ready to go by the time they do get to Orlando. Other news today, Shelby cases up 157, 2 new deaths. So the best thing I can tell you, at the risk of repeating myself, which has irked one of our listeners who texted me such, wear a mask. Listen to the protocols. We're not out of the woods of this thing yet.
No, not even close. And this weekend and the next two, here we go again. The next 2 weeks could really be rough and tumble. But we'll see about the hospitalizations, and we'll see about certainly the bottom line, the ultimate line, the saddest line, the fatalities. And it is not trended at all with the wide number of tests. We have conducted more tests in the United States than Brazil, the UK, Italy, France, Spain, and India combined. And yesterday, Thursday, was the lowest deaths since March and was a 10% drop versus last week.
And again, I'll go back because Dr. Birx actually addressed that today, and so did Vice President Mike Pence. And it's a matter of we know a lot more than we did months ago. We know how to treat it a lot better. We now have better medicines that we understand will work, like that steroid, like remdesivir, and they are using those. They understand if you're younger, you're not going to be steered into the same direction you might have been. If you're older, you will get into an acute care bed a lot quicker, or on a ventilator a lot quicker, or be given that steroid a lot quicker. They understand the treatment a whole lot better. So I've seen a bunch of positive today, even though we've seen, if you're going to give this thing presented a fair way, we've seen Morehouse College canceling football and cross country for the fall. They don't think that everybody will be ready. We saw Texas Tech had 23 players or staff members out of 197 that reported. That's 12%. We did see a couple more players have to withdraw from the Travelers. Really, one player, Denny McCarthy, got COVID, and the guy who was playing with Bud Cauley, we all remember Bud Cauley, he was playing with him, so he decided to be on the safe side and take care of himself, and so he withdrew. So we've had absolute an effect today because of COVID-19, but it isn't as dire as some of the other days, despite the fact that we are seeing a whole bunch of cases, in particular in Texas, where we're trying to get a hold of our friend Craig Way, in Florida, and in California. Those cases keep going up, and you know, if you're thinking about it, especially Central Florida and South Florida, they've had 9,000 cases in this one day.
In Texas, they are on that Joe Lunardi really, really extremely early bracketology. And not only are they on it, they are in a most favorable pod in Dallas if we have an NCAA tournament next year in 2020. And if we do, we will punch a ticket to the Final Four in Memphis, hosting Sweet 16s and Elite Eights. And in that South region, his top 4 seeds, and if it went chalk, that's who would be in Memphis. Baylor's the 1 seed, the 2 seed Michigan State, 3 seed Creighton, 4 seed Tennessee. Would be an orange-clad FedEx Forum if that were the case. Tennessee, right now, according to Joe Lunardi, would pod through Boise.
Huh. Well, they're not giving Memphis any love. We had a texter who pointed that out. I think he agreed, though. But they haven't been mentioned at all, and I think
they're not in the last 4 in, first 4 out, or next 4 out.
No, I think honestly, if they get Cisse, and if they get one or both of those players that transferred in, and those freshmen who, remember, were a big part, even though the 2 best players from that number 1 class, I get it, they're gone, Wiseman and Precious, but those other guys, they're going to be much better, much more consistent this year. You'll have a guy in Lomax who, you know, I think will be a really solid 4-year guy. I thought sort of went backwards toward the end of last year. I thought we saw a great deal of progress from him early on in his sophomore year, but I expect him to be a whole lot more consistent and not turn the ball over near as much. I think they're a team that could win the American. I would be surprised, again, if they get Cisse and one of those 2 guys become eligible. I think it's a team that should clearly make the tournament.
Well, but we thought that for sure this time last year.
Yeah,
we know
did.
Why a lot of that didn't happen. I don't know anybody that really expected it the first year, maybe hoped it. Always hope it. And I touched on this yesterday. Just will have to be better and should be in the AAC that has not been very good in a league that saw the Tigers lose 8 times in it last year in a most ho-hum league.
Yeah, well, you know, they weren't the only team that I think were negative surprises. And let's face it, you lost your best player. You only played 3 games in Wiseman, and then you lost at least 40% of the playing time, and especially down the stretch when it really would have helped, you lost DJ Jeffries. So you're talking about 2 or 3 best players not able to go. And then really one player flourished because he got the ball a lot and was a great player, but he would never have had the same kind of year that he had Wiseman been around, or really Jeffrey's been more healthy, and that's Precious Achiuwa. And he should be drafted in the first 10 to 20 picks in the NBA draft whenever they hold that. And now I guess we will know when they'll hold that. That'll be right after this bubble thing and the playoffs all end sometime, I guess, in October. So
and the NBA will announce the schedule tonight at 6 Central, but also today it's been revealed by the NBA exactly what the playoff format will look like, and it mostly will look like it has in the past. It'll be East versus West, and it will be everything's going to be 4 out of 7.
And it starts 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7.
Pretty much traditional, like it always has been. And in NBA past, I got the bracket in front of me. Where is it? But the bracket looks like it always has.
Okay, so it's the traditional way to go, and so I don't think we've had this discussion about baseball, but I think it's fair to give this discussion now. I don't think there should be any asterisk in regards to who wins the championship here. I mean, you've never had a more neutral
I don't think even close
situation. You played every one, but a few of those games down the stretch, and you still had to win every playoff game you would have had to win. And for the most part, you even had a little play
most of their year.
Yeah, by the time you're done here, so the Grizzlies are going to be 9 games short of what would have been their full regular season. And actually
much less of an asterisk than even in the 98, 99, 50 game season that San Antonio won over the Knicks when the Knicks came out as the 8th seed, and then the Grizzlies, it came out as the one advanced in 2011 as 8, but not all the way to the NBA Finals like the Knicks did in the spring of '99. This is much more finality and I think assuredness of a real champion. And you talk about the neutrality. It will be. It may work to a team like the Clippers disadvantage for it to be so neutral.
I agree. I there's no doubt in my mind about that. This is as fair as you could possibly get, and honestly, the way they are aligning teams at the end with a play-in opportunity for a 9 and an 8, actually allowing more in, even though they're only missing 9 games. I think it's about as fair as you could possibly get it. I don't think there should be any asterisk to it at all. This is
Dave,
really a story
we saw the. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, we'll get back to that in a second. There's really a great story going on right now. Phil Mickelson has just tied for the lead at the Travelers. He's got 2 holes to go. Yesterday he shot a 64. Today he is 6 under, and he's got 17 and 18 to play. He's tied for the lead with Will Gordon. And I'll be honest with you, Will Gordon's an American. What do you know about Will Gordon?
Played at Vandy.
You had to look that up early.
No. I remember his college career in
really
the SEC it's turning them out. And a lot of different leagues are, but the SEC with those budgets and how they treat golf, and then you will wonder if it can go forward. It sure won't go forward like this without the nuclear warhead that is college football. And Dave, we got a little bit. And I thought Brian Geltzeiler, and I know it was sincere because it was the very same answer he gave to me off the air that he gave on the air to our listeners. It was most diplomatic, but we see, and Drew got some calls. People don't like it when we bring this up, and that's one of the shame of this week. One of the things to be sorrowful about this week with this now out there is it was always out there percolating a little bit. We didn't give it any sustenance. We didn't give it any life, but this week it got kind of new energy, and it brought to the fore once again what we've always been scared of, and we have always mostly been scared of the Grizzlies are leaving. And Brett didn't make this story this week. It's out there. It was reported on, and now there's no inhibition about bringing it up. There's no need to be delicate anymore about it because it is out there.
Well, honestly, that clause has been in place since the Grizzlies moved to
That's
FedEx
right.
Forum 15 years ago. This is the end of the 16th year, and that's why that trigger can go into place.
But we hadn't triggered it many times.
No.
In these last few years with no jaw mania,
you couldn't trigger it.
Jaren mania.
You couldn't trigger it until after this year. This is the first year that you could use those particular clauses because it is after the 15th year. So this is the first season, the 16th years after the 15th, where it would become applicable. So this is really
Drew, what was the caller's angst about the subject matter?
Basically telling you that the Grizzlies aren't going anywhere.
And
said it a little bit more colorful
with
language, but that was the gist
I
of
agree
it.
with that. And I could respond in more colorful language. And that's why I said yesterday and on Wednesday, it's the shame of this coming out is because now it is out there laid threadbare. There's no more – It might. It can. That contract has existed. Again, I Googled 2 months ago, referenced the language on these airwaves 2 months ago, the 14,900 attendance number, the skybox number, referenced every bit of that 2 months ago. I know during virus talk we were talking this one day, and now with this attention that's been cast on it, it is really there to be talked about. It's no more acting like it's not there. And anybody that tells you that contract is ironclad and can't be broken, you could graduate from law school this last spring and pass the bar and fight some of that selling to the local language.
Well, I really would love to, and they're not going to talk about this for a while, and we'll have to wait and see, because it's not really a totally a pertinent story until they trigger that clause, which they cannot do until 30 days after the completion of their season. But I would love to see the language in the contract, in the contractual clause that is between Robert Pera and the local ownership group, that says they have the right of first refusal to buy the team if he tries to move it, to buy the team at what the cost he's put into it. In other words, what he's invested in the team is the price tag on the sale, not what it's worth, which is, according to Forbes, over $2 billion, which has now listed him as a $9 billionaire. But it would be at what the original, what was it, 350 or 370 million that he put into it. And, you probably kick yourself a little bit, and I'm certainly not trying to pick on anybody here, but the local group had the first real attempt to buy the team from Michael Heisley the year before he ended up selling it to Robert Pera. And he offered them, I want to say, Brett, it wasn't much more than $250 million or $270 million. And they thought that was a ridiculous price. And honestly, it was ridiculous.
That's one of the misses of all time.
It was ridiculously low. And they were insulted by it. But of course, they had already had bad feelings.
They did when he handed them the bills that they wanted to be co-owners, right. And he handed them part of the bills.
Right. So he basically took away some of their equity as time went on, but based on them not paying for the bills, and there were hard feelings from that, and so they never trusted him after that, and
Dave,
that was part of the reason why they didn't take that deal. But it's unfortunate because it was a heck of a deal.
Is it one person? You don't have to call names, but does one person really represent the locals? Is there kind of a managing partner of the locals, a face person of the locals?
I don't think there is. I have yet to see anybody come forward. You and I, we have friends and acquaintances that are a part of this team that have invested significant money. I don't think Steve Earhart would mind if I say he's got money invested in that team. Billy Orgel's got money invested in that team. Duncan Williams has money that's invested in that team. Elliot Perry has money that's invested in that team. He addressed the fact that there is that clause in the contract, that he's a part of that he's aware of it. But, nobody wants to say anything specifically. Of all those names that I mentioned, I don't think it would be fair for me to even venture the amount of percentages they have in. Because I don't really know.
I wouldn't know either. I didn't know of some of those names you just mentioned. That comes as a pleasant surprise. Another thing that came as a pleasant surprise yesterday, but also concerning, was the $29 million just over here in a fund. I almost said slush fund, but that's not what it is. No. It's a legitimate fund.
No, it's accrued interest on bonds.
That's great. Where else maybe in city government, Shelby County government, that we might, if we dug a little deeper, that we might find $29 million more?
Well, I really believe initially that was for maintenance and for improvements and for everything else. If you got money out of that, that was, I thought, and I'm certainly not the legal expert on this, and there is a story with one of the guys that put this thing together on behalf of the city. But they first of all, I don't think they knew it would be as financially successful as it has been, and this accrued interest, I'm not even sure that they were totally aware of it until maybe the last year or two when when we really started talking about this. That I'm not 100%.
$29 million just pops up as a surprise.
Well, I've never heard of it before. Did you?
No, but I'm not in charge of hearing from it.
So if indeed there's a cash call, they've got some. If they really intend to do that, I'd
hate for them to take the $29 million and still depart.
I would like to know how close they are to that 14,900, the 64 suites, and the 2,500 club seats. How far are they away?
I wouldn't know, but just with going to many games over the last 3 or 4 years, there aren't many nights that's close to the number of real people. And as I mentioned, a lot of dimly lit boxes night in, night out at a lot of games, especially above kind of the loge area, kind of the higher you go, the less occupied.
We apologize, by the way. We had intended to speak with our friend Craig Way, and we've had a technical problem with him. But that leaves the door open for our friend Jay. Jay, on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255. He's got a question pertaining to Precious Achiuwa. Jay, what's on your mind? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Dave, I'd just like to get your opinion. And I'm really, everyone is saying that Precious Achiuwa is a, first-round pick. And I would like for you to compare. I know he's more athletic, but just compare him to Dietrich Lawson. I feel like if Dietrich Lawson would have stayed at Kansas, he definitely would have been. He should have been. I don't know how they pick first round players, but I do know Dietrich Lawson was skilled. And to me, Dietrich has a lot of skills that Precious doesn't have. And he was a double guy. And I'm just trying to see the first-round pick impression.
Well, all right. Let's just start with this. When Dietrich Lawson played at Kansas, he had been a college basketball player for 4 years. 2 at Memphis, 1 off year where he worked out with everybody, and then that junior year at Kansas. He was a very skilled player here. He had great footwork and an all-around better shot than Precious Achiuwa. But
Dave,
wait, Jay, you asked me. Let me give you the question. All right, let me answer your question. I'm trying to.
Okay.
Precious, in his very first year, showed that he was a much better defensive player, could run the floor better, was quicker, could jump higher, but is not as polished. Didn't have the same footwork as Dietrich Lawson was. Dietrich Lawson's a heck of a player. But to play in the NBA, you have to have a certain athletic amount to you. And the other thing is that Precious is a quick jumper, quick to the hole. And I think that is where Dietrich is lacking. He doesn't jump high. He doesn't jump quick. He doesn't run the floor. He doesn't defend as well as Precious. So you're talking about upside when you're talking about a player getting drafted. And they see a guy who just played 1 year, not 4 years. And they see a guy who's got a lot more athletic ability, and that's why he is more valued at the next level than Dietrich. As far as just sheer skill level as a college player, Dietrich Lawson is a much better offensive player than Precious was this year. Precious would probably not even be in the draft conversation if James Wiseman had played more than 3 games, because he got those numbers that Wiseman got, that would have had.
I mean, and I got you, but I'm even going back to Dietrich's freshman year and the sophomore year. He was a double also, and I'm just trying to see, because I have seen a lot of guys that weren't athletic. You take a guy like Marc Gasol, who wasn't as athletic, and somehow found his way into the league. But being that he was a cerebral player like Dietrich and could pass and shoot and knew how to play the game, he was able to carve out a good career.
But he was 7 feet tall, and he was a true post player and didn't mind playing that to begin with. And then his game grew as he got more and more experience, and he was getting international experience as well. He's just had –
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not saying that this guy should or shouldn't. I'm just basing on. I'm just trying to see.
Yeah. Well, the pros that are paid to do that, they seem to think that Precious is going to be a first-round guy, and Dietrich may at some point work himself up from the G League. But again, some things you're just God-given, and jumping ability and ability to run the floor, that is just definitely not Dietrich's strong suit. Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it. We are late for a timeout. I'll tell you our title sponsor for this hour of the program's Homer, Skelton Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch, that wonderful place at Craft Road and Highway 78 in Mississippi. That's the very first exit when you're going into the state of Mississippi. You turn left, and you'll see Chris True and all the gang. This is a group that have been together for years. They all stay together. Chris True is he's only been there a couple of years, but really and truly, all the salespeople and all of the guys that work in service and all of the people behind the scenes work in finance and all the numbers, they've been together for at least as long as they've been a part of our Flynn broadcasting family, and that's a lot of years. And look, they've got product. You can't beat these Hyundais. You can't beat the Genesis cars. My luxury car, my G70, I brag about it all the time. Proof's in the pudding. Every one of those new cars, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And then there's the incentives they always come up with. Chris said, hey, let's do this. He was the first in the market. Now a bunch of them are. 0% financing for 84 months. You never pay interest on that note. And, hey, on some select models, that could be a Hyundai. It could be a Genesis car. You got 120 days before you make your first payment. That's 4 months. Some of the deals are 3 months. Go see which one you might put to use. The idea behind this is, okay, pandemic, and so many people were unemployed. They were out of work, but now they're getting back to work. And in 4 months, you can afford that new car. Please go see my friends. You'll love what you see at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. When we come back, we usually spend a lot of time in the fall talking to Glenn Rogers Jr. We're going to have fun today with him because he is next.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Glad to announce the Rendezvous open for business 11A to 8P Tuesday through Saturday. World-famous Rendezvous up and running. If you need some barbecue nachos, brisket, ribs, maybe a cheese and sausage plate, the Rendezvous back and open for dine-in, carry-out, and curbside. While not much changes in the alley basement, you will see a few small differences and additions. For now, open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. And they have desserts. Think key lime pie tarts, chocolate chess pie tarts. Spend some time downtown and visit our friends at the Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis since 1948. All of the Vergas family thanks Memphis and the Mid-South so very much for your support during these times, and they're there for you, as always, in the alley in downtown Memphis. Mr. Charlie Vergos and family's famous restaurant, The Rendezvous. At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. How old is your water heater? With most of the water heaters in the Mid-South located in the attic, the worst day you can replace your water heater is one day too late. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. Plus, these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. Most 10-year-old water heaters were about 65% efficient when they were new, compared to a tankless water heater from Conway Services is up to 98% efficient. Just right now, get your tankless water heater from Conway Services for as low as $79 per month, or I'll give you $300 for that old tank water heater. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. And with over 8,000 five-star reviews, you know Google guaranteed Conway Services will be providing that award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Oh, my stomach.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Try new Pepto-Bismol Chews. The same fast relief of Pepto-Bismol, now in a delightful chew.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
From faulty breakers to broken windows to leaky pipes, roofs, and water heaters, homes and businesses around the country can't work until the pros do. That's why Lowe's created credit programs that work for pros. With everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases, plus through October 31st, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or online at lowesforpros.com. Putting money back in your pocket. Just one more reason Lowe's is the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Strapped against my back, I held my hands.
Halfway through our show, halfway to the weekend, Wallow and Stats with you. I think you and I had a little debate. We were talking about the greatest father-son combinations in Memphis sports and the U of M history, and somebody sort of mentioned Glenn Rogers Sr. and Jr.
I did.
You did.
Yeah. And that is a formidable duo.
I've been thinking about it.
That day was a week ago, right before Father's Day. We left out a great Memphis connection, father-son. Mike Conley and Mike Conley.
Oh, yeah. Well, one was an Olympic
gold medalist, triple jump.
Yeah. An Olympic athlete, and the other is, pretty much NBA All-Star.
We got the Tiger. We got the Tiger duo.
Yeah,
right
I think we do. Let's. You know what? He's usually very modest. I don't know. I don't even know if he's even thought about
this. Take that victory
this.
lap, Coach.
I don't know if he's thought about this before. Glenn Rogers Jr. Are you and your dad the greatest father-son combination in the history of the U of M?
Well, Stats, thank you for allowing me to join in today. I would make that argument with anybody. My dad and I both, had a great career at Memphis. Mine was probably a little bit more decorated because I started and played for 3 years, and my dad came in as a walk-on, and he earned his scholarship his senior year. But I would I wouldn't pose that argument to anybody. We both had a great career at the University of Memphis. Like I said, mine was probably a little bit more decorated.
I've been
you play pro football.
I've been thinking hard about this. So you had the Wilfongs, the Finches, the Hardaways in basketball. You and your dad in football. I don't know if there's been a baseball. There may be a baseball guy. You had the Dills in football, and both of them were starters, and the dad played in the NFL. So they would they would be close.
He didn't play at the University of Memphis, and I don't know how decorated in high school he was because he was such a late bloomer, as it's been told to me, Glenn. And I'll tell you who knew the story very well was the late George Klein, but that was Herb Wright, who went to Ole Miss after going to Shelby State, and then, of course, Lorenzen with the Tigers. Yeah. But I think Herb was basically a reserve player at Melrose, and then really grew and blossomed at Shelby State, and then went to Ole Miss, as it been told to me.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Stats. But it's another great father-son combination. Herb and Lorenzen Wright. We all know about Lorenzen. And my dad knows Herb Wright, and so you got a lot of good father-son combinations that came out of the university, and I'm just so proud to be affiliated, associated with the university.
Well, Tim Doolin's son didn't play, but did Tim Doolin's dad play for the U of M? I don't know. I'm trying to think of a baseball combination.
I don't know many baseball combinations either. Because I don't know about.
John Hardenstein's a good one. John Harden sends me a good one. Craig and Kurt Hopkins in baseball. That would be a good one.
That is a good one.
And Coach Rock and his son would be a good one, but Coach Rock didn't play at the university. But he coached.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. If his son, if he would have played, that would have been a good one.
But Glenn, how old were you before people kept telling you, Glenn, I knew your dad, or Glenn, your dad this? I mean, it was big shoes, wasn't it?
Yeah. I can remember early on, it's probably 5 years old, when people started bringing my dad up to me, that I can remember. Because I was a water boy at Southside when he was the head coach at 5. And so I would spend all my summer with my dad on the football field. And then when I would go to games, I would be on the sidelines, giving water to the players. But that's as early as I can remember. As 5 years old, people say, your dad did this, your dad did. And then, I didn't find this out till later on because my dad never talked about it, that he was the first black to play at Memphis. So I didn't find that out till I was almost in high school.
He was the first black
that as well.
Football player in Memphis, or
total athlete? The first black football player in Memphis.
Wow, I never knew that either. Huh.
1967. He came in the spring of '67, and then Gerald Tinker came in the fall of
Gerald Tinker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And man, he could play. Ooh, wow.
Glenn, since we are in this very sensitive age and trying to bring the pendulum back the other way with racism in this country and the way blacks are treated, did your dad ever talk to you about how tough that might have been for him coming to the University of Memphis?
He did. He talked to me about it. When I was much older, I was probably I was a grown up then when he brought it up. It was tough on him. He broke down and cried because my dad, we've all been raised, and I'm talking about my family, my brothers and my sister. We never was taught racism or to see color. We always judge people for the content of their character. And so my dad was brought up the same way, and some of the things he experienced really cut deep and hurt him deep inside, and he shared some of those things with me, and with some of his teammates he had a great relationship with. But his experience was a difficult one because, you being the first, you paving the way. And he experienced a lot of tough situations and a lot of tough situations he was placed in and that he had to deal with.
How about for you, the next generation? Was it better?
Oh, absolutely. I I didn't experience, the first time I ever went to school with whites was at college. At Southside, we did not have a white person at Southside. Even at Hills Junior High School, we did not have a white. I went to elementary school with one white kid, James Burris, at Corns Elementary. But the first time I took classes with whites was at Memphis. And so my experience was nothing like my father's. Like I said, I didn't see color. Tommy Ferrari and I came in, David Giraffe and John started, Ray McCray, all of us came in as freshmen, and I used to go to a lot of the practices even before then and knew a lot of the players, Terrell Hooper and, Derek Burrows, and a lot of those guys. And so, I didn't have that kind of experience that my father had, and I thank God for that because, I don't know how I would have probably dealt with it or handled it.
Glenn, at a lot of places in the 80s and into the 90s, even in some vestiges of it now, I know Coach Vince Dooley eliminated it when Herschel Walker was almost seriously injured. He said that's the end of that. There used to be air quotes here, almost like a fraternity-type initiation from some of the upperclassmen to some of the freshman players, and he would even be shaving of the freshmen's heads to have a shorter or bald-looking haircut for a lot of players for the freshman photos. Did you go through that, and is that mostly eliminated now? And it should be.
Yeah, I went through it, David Stats. I got the freshman initiation. They didn't shave our head. But we did ours different. The blacks initiated the black players, and the whites initiated the white players. I thought that was kind of weird, but the white guys they shaved each other's head. And so, I thought it was hilarious, but, we did go through that, but, you don't hear about that kind of stuff anymore. Even in the NFL, as rookies, you sing at the dinner or lunch table or the breakfast table, you sing and, they'll do stuff to your equipment, but, they rarely do stuff to players and maybe make you buy dinner or, when you're out. But, you don't hear about the initiation stuff in college anymore. Like you used to. I think a lot of colleges have gotten away from that.
Today, bad news, Morehouse College becomes the second college. One was a Division III, and today Morehouse, which is a Division II school, have canceled football already for the fall. What are you hearing about Shelby County schools? I know you guys had workouts. Last week, I think you had your first workouts. What are you hearing from athletic directors around the Tennessee State Secondary Association?
Well, absolutely. We had 3 weeks of workouts in June, and I talked to Coach Salisbury this morning and Coach Sutton, and they haven't had workouts. They haven't been allowed to do any workouts. The Shelby County school system hasn't approved them to do workouts, and so. I feel bad for these guys because a lot of them got very, very talented players, and they're not allowed to get in the weight room. And even us, we weren't allowed in the weight room, but we were on the field. But these guys haven't been allowed to get out there with their kids. They're still doing Zoom calls and video messaging, trying to make sure the kids are working out. But you really are fearful now because the numbers. They said as it got hotter, the numbers would go down, but we're seeing a huge increase in numbers, and right now, with Morehouse canceling their football, and you hear about other schools that may be thinking about that. Your football is really in jeopardy right now, and I hope these young men have a season. But man, I'll tell you one thing, Stats and Dave, I'm fearful that this thing might get canceled if these numbers keep spiking up. Because, you have to think of the safety of the young man and the coaches and everybody that's associated with an athletic program or with a football program.
I've been very pessimistic about it. In fact, on Sunday afternoon, March 15th, a friend of mine has the text that I sent him. I don't save any text. And I asked him if he did. He said he does. He looked it up on Sunday afternoon, March 15th. I text him, calling it now. No football this year, and I firmly believe that. I don't want that, but I just don't see how it can be done really at any level.
I agree with you, Stats. It's football is a contact sport. Coaching, you have to be, right there on the field with you guys, coaching them up.
Hands
You
on.
know, they have to lift weights together. You know, you can find a way to social distance in the weight room. But football is a contact sport. You can't avoid tackling or going to the ground and being over somebody. And you know, I don't see a way around this thing unless we get a cure for the disease. You know, it's going to be tough. Dread, you know, going through it. You know, player safety. We had some kids in our program that parents opted, because it was voluntary. Parents opted to keep them at home, and I respect that decision. And I know Coach Austin did as well, because you know, these are your children. You know, you got to look out for the safety of your own child. And so, you know, we had some kids staying home because the parents are still, you know, worried about the pandemic.
What will that do you think, to high school programs? Do you think there will be coaches that will retire or give it up, or you think everybody, if we find the cure, when we get the vaccine, whatever the heck we get, do you think we would come back the very next year if we miss a year with everybody still intact?
You know, I think so. I think it's important. You know, a lot of coaches' salaries are tied to their coaching stipends. You got to wonder if the school systems will allow the coaches to still, you know, get a stipend. You know, especially in the Mississippi area, with my brother, that Marcus is the head coach at Holmes County. A chunk of his salary is tied to his stipend. You know, and so you got to wonder about the Shelby County coaches, and even us at MUS and some of these private schools. You know, where coaches' salaries and you know, stipends for coaches are tied to coaches' salaries. Will that affect some of the coaches? And if so, you wonder if these guys, some of them would retire, some of them would come back. You know, some of the lesser programs that don't make a lot of revenue off football, would they be able to survive? And so a lot of questions up in there, and I know a lot of coaches are worried about that. You know, you look at the college coaches, you know, a lot of them are taking pay cuts, and, you know, some of the programs are shutting down. You know, some of the, not football programs, but I've seen other programs, you know, college disband other programs. And so you got to wonder, if football doesn't go on, David Stats, will it affect some of these college programs that doesn't, you know, they count on football revenue to you know, to pay salaries and do other things for other programs?
I don't think there's any question that there will be some college football programs, if this thing goes under, or athletic departments that will just be severely changed and not nearly the same as they were prior to last March 11th. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So on your schedule, you did those workouts. What's next on tap for MUS and you guys and the CBHSs of the world? Because I imagine you guys are pretty much just answering to what the TSSAA has to say.
Yeah, we've been listening to the TSSAA and the governor and the health department here in Memphis. We've just been doing what they've allowed us to do. You know, we check temperatures. Kids had to be in the car while we checked temperatures. Then we got them out. They had to have a mask on. We kept them 6 feet apart. Then we got on the field. We had 3 fields, so we're pretty spread out on the field. You know, so we did a good job at that. Once we start practicing, the guys were allowed to take their masks off. But we're not no contact. We just did a lot of just conditioning type stuff. No ball out. And then once practice is over with, masks on, got them back in their car. And so this thing is different. And once we come back in July, we're going to listen to the powers that be. If we can put helmets on, I know we're going to. The kids are going to be allowed to take their helmets and stuff on. They got to change at home, and when they get there, have their stuff already on and ready to go. We've been looking at a lot of videos and looking at what Hoover High School is doing right outside of Birmingham. And they've been practicing with masks on. So we've been. Coach Austin has done a very good job, and Pete Sanders, our headmaster, along with our. We got a board on on health and an athletic board. They've been doing an excellent job of letting us know what we can and what we can't do. We got a lot of dads that are doctors, that went to MUS, or sons that go to MUS. So we've been listening to the people that know a lot about this stuff, and we've been just doing what they've been telling us to do, and listening to the local health officials here in Memphis. And
all you can do is just sit back and wait and hope we have a year. That's all we can do, and we won't know for a while. That's the truest way to put it.
Exactly. And like you said, we gotta just make sure we're doing our due diligence with these kids because their safety comes first. And, once we, open up to more things, and then I think, I know Coach Austin and us as a staff, we're going to do what we're allowed to do. We're not going to do anything else extra. Whatever's deemed that we can do, we'll do it. And whatever's deemed we can't do, trust me, Coach Austin will not do it.
I got you. Glenn, always a pleasure chatting with you. Hopefully we do our thing this fall, and you stay healthy.
Absolutely.
You stay healthy.
Always a pleasure, Dave, your stats, and I want to wish my lovely wife, Tony, a happy birthday. Her birthday's tomorrow, but always a pleasure, man, talking to you guys and being on the show with you guys. I've had so much fun over the years, Dave, you and I, and even when I've been with Stats. It sure is wonderful. Y'all do an amazing job. And I listened to the show yesterday, Dave, about the incident with Briarcrest, and it is sad the way that's turned out because, Chandler is a very, very formal, nice young man, and I just hate the situation with him and Coach Harrington.
No doubt. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, guys. Enjoy the show.
Thank you. Glenn Rogers Jr., always a pleasure to chat with. This portion of the show brought to you by Edwin Watts. It's time to upgrade your game and get custom fit for free at Edwin Watts with their summer bonus trade-in sale. You come in now through July 12th and get a 50% bonus trade on any Callaway, TaylorMade, or Cobra inline products. Wow. Check out the Bushnell Tour V5 rangefinder, which measures up to 400 yards to the flag, and introducing Bushnell's Wingman, the world's first Bluetooth speaker with audible GPS distances. Now, that is cool. You could be in your cart, and it'll just tell you 350 to the center. I love what that is all about. Be the course DJ with the Bushnell Wingman speaker. Not only do you get those accurate reads to the pins, but you can probably play music at the same time. It is all new to Edwin Watts Golf Shops. You can sign up to register for the customer loyalty program and receive cash back on every purchase. The summer bonus trade sale is going on, happening now through July 12th at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We take the time out. We are back with a wrap of this second hour in just a minute.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
This is Dave Wolf, President and General Manager at Southland Casino. I want everyone to know that Southland is ready to welcome you back. We have a new program in place to help us all stay safe. So if you're ready to play, the most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South is open for you. Blackjack is live, the slots are rolling, and our clean team is on the job. So make this short trip to Southland Casino. Together we'll play it safe.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Family Leisure's here to make staying at home more enjoyable for you and your family this summer. Complete pool packages starting at $15.99. 24-foot pools only $19.99. 4-person spas starting at $19.99. Swim spas starting at under $10,000. We are offering contactless purchasing, deliveries, and curbside pickup. Give us a call to schedule an appointment or to place an order. Stay safe with Family Leisure.
We started Untuck It to create the perfect untucked shirts. But along the way, we had other great ideas too, like super comfortable polos that come out of the dryer looking crisp and wrinkle-free and always hit that just right length. Today, save 25% off all polos from traditional PK to performance styles that wick moisture. You'll feel cool and dry in an Untuck It polo. There's no better time to try our famous polos. Save 25% on all polo styles at your local Untuck It store today and at untuckit.com.
Are you tired of staring at that dent? At Mako, getting collision repaired is as easy as book, quote, fix. Come to Mako for a collision repair backed by our best price guarantee. Uh-oh? Better get Mako.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We've got a story going on in Hartford at the Travelers. Yesterday, 50-year-old Phil Mickelson shot a 64. Today, Brett Norsworthy, lefty, shot a 63. He is 13 under par, ripping it up
leading
at TPC Hartford. Ripping it up. 13 under, one better than Will Gordon and Mackenzie Hughes, who had a 10 under
had
yesterday.
To cool off.
Xander Schauffele, who's been hot as could be, is at 9 under. So is Brendan Steele. And Rory McIlroy finally getting his act together. Brendan Todd, Mark Leishman, a former champion there. They are all at 9 under, tied for fourth.
Great leaderboard.
How about this story with Mickelson, though?
It would be fun. And we asked a few weeks ago how much was left in him at turning the big 5-0. I thought you were going to say the big story at Hartford would be for you with the big 0.
The bagel? I did mention that to
You made 6 picks this year, Dave, and 3 haven't made the cut.
This is a tough start. Well, I'm a little like the Washington Nationals. We're going to have a full year. Can I remind you what happened last year? I think I fell behind early. But I will have zero money.
I think this is the point
this week.
I think this is the point last year where I compared him to the aging boxer, and you knew it was over, Drew. And we see him flailing around. There's no doubt this year that's the case. It's Ali against Trevor Burbick with Howard Cosell begging, "Stop this in the name of all things holy."
He's not the Spurs. We're not just going to keep saying he's too old. He's too old. No, you're done and in the dirt now.
Tim
Duncan has retired.
Justin Rose just totally disappointed me. JT Poston, there were some people thought he could win this tournament. Neither of them make the cut. Wow. And the 1 week I don't
Abraham
take
Answer,
Rory,
8 under.
Yeah, wow.
T9 for me.
Man. Well, there's still time for him to fall.
And remember, if a shock pick wins, they win double. I'm expecting big things over the weekend, Drew, from Joaquin Neiman for you.
I hope so. He's got some work to do, but if he can put in 2 really good rounds, he can have a shot at it.
Abraham Answer
a lot of cars
is not your
passed,
shock, by the way. Let's just clarify that.
No, Joaquin Neiman is Drew's, though.
I understand.
No, Joel Damon,
I know.
if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, was my shock.
Damon. I think it's Damon.
And I don't know where he played golf.
No, but he's a guy coming on, and
he really is just
I
quiet.
had him last week.
Yeah, just a quiet player that gets a pretty good check at week in, week out. Not a lot of people really know he's out there. Good life.
Yep. 2 hours in the books. When we come back, our agent in Chicago. He's back in Chicago. That would be Andy Schiffman. We chat with him next.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab-stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning a 4th of July cookout? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of fresh Angus beef, hand-cut steaks and burgers, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse. Dine in, curbside, and delivery. Plus, enjoy the sizzle of top-quality Butcher Shop steaks on your own grill. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
When you have frequent heartburn, antacid relief only lasts for a few hours. Prilosec OTC stops heartburn before it begins and lasts a full 24 hours. Its unique delayed release formula blocks heartburn at the source. With just one pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn protection. Make the switch today. Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour on this Friday afternoon. We always talk the NBA with Memphian Andy Schiffman. He is in Chicago, where he is Executive Vice President of Basketball Representation for Priority Sports and Entertainment, and it has been a blast. This would have been our last visit the day after the draft with Andy, but we get bonus Andy with the Orlando plan, and we appreciate him every single week. We visit with Andy after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's our friends at DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area, and plenty of happy repeat customers and referrals that you can check out at DeSotoAutoSales.com. All the cars test driven, checked out bumper to bumper with unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you at DeSoto Auto Sales. No shortcuts taken. You're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment, but they care very much about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in time to do it over your lunch hour or like right now, immediately after work on this Friday afternoon. We're living in a world today that time matters, and they know it at DeSoto Auto Sales. Very proud to serve DeSoto County on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We've had an interesting day today, as we always seem to. We know Morehouse College canceled their football season. That's the Division II school in Atlanta that is a historically black college and university, really kind of famous. It was, as Brett pointed out, the alma mater for Dr. Martin Luther King, and they've decided it's not safe enough, so they've already pulled the trigger on football. We had a Division III school, Bodewin, that did that just the other day, but it was also a day where it's gone crazy in Florida on nearly 9,000 cases in one day. Here in Shelby County, 157 new cases. But when they all met, the NBA players, and they all got tested the other day, good news. 302 players, 16 or 5% positives. I know that has to make an agent like Andy Schiffman, who's got a bunch of players that he's worried about, got to make it happy that there weren't that many players that had COVID-19. Good afternoon, Andy. I hope you're safe and sound in Chicago. It's certainly not Florida, Texas, or California. You're not getting cases like they are right now. And you had to be pretty pleased with the results of the NBA tests.
Yeah, Dave, so far so good. There is a little bit of cause for trepidation because there have been 16 positive tests, and those players are getting tested. They have to get tested again 7 days later, and right now, all of the staff, coaches, and players that are set to go to Orlando are being tested around the clock. So those numbers and that number 16 could increase. So there's kind of everyone in the industry is collectively holding our breath right now. But as you said, it's not quite like you see around some of these other states. The biggest concern right now, I think one of the main hurdles for the league to officially restart, although everything is set in place and there are the proper protocols and safeguards already in place, is the alarming increase in cases in Florida. I still do believe it is very safe for the league to restart in Orlando because they'll have all the players and staff isolated in this bubble. However, it is a bit of a concern that the state that the NBA chose to restart the season now is unfortunately incurring an exponentially large number of cases.
Were you
a lot of cases, Andy? But it looks like a great plan by the commissioner and by the NBA. And I almost wish they could have gotten a different phraseology. This is a little nitpicky, but I wish that they would have adopted something different than bubble, because it makes it sound like it makes it sound like they're over at White Station's gym having it. This is a large operation. I don't know how in the front they, at one time they did, I think they were trying to call it the Biodome. That sounded a little too futuristic, but bubble sounds like, it's a holiday tournament over at Messick High.
Well, it's kind of funny because you can almost picture a giant plastic dome or bubble over this area, these facilities in Orlando where no one can escape. And it's a little bit comical to think that. But look, they use that term just to make everyone kind of understand it's a bubble in that you are, as well as you can be, protected from the outside world, protected from all of the resort and theme park goers and people vacationing there. They cannot have access to the games, the players, the coaches, the staff, etc. And the only people that you come in contact with if you are a player are members of your own team, your staff, and you can fraternize with other members of other teams. If it's outside of the hotel and the hotel rooms, then you can go and enjoy yourself. They're going to have golf available for the players. They're going to have video games and a lot of social events among the players available. Same thing for their families when families can report starting at the very end of August. So this whole notion that, certain players have spoken up and said, oh, my goodness, I'm going to be away from my family for 3 months. I'm going to be isolated for 3 months. I'm going to be losing my mind and losing my sanity with nothing to do. It's not like these players are going to the gym, practicing or playing games, going to the hotel room, and then are on lockdown and can never set foot outside of their room. There are a lot of amenities available to these players. So I agree with you, Seth, that bubble might be a little bit of a interesting term, but it's not quite as bad as people think. And quite honestly, if I'm a player right now, especially in one of these other states where the cases have increased so much, I would feel quite safe going down to Orlando compared to staying put.
Exactly.
Orlando and Tampa, they are one of the hottest spots in the country right now, but I do think they'll be protected in that bubble. I'm with you. By the way, it was just official today. Both the Players Association and the league signed off on the bubble thing to start. So that is there. I really thought there would be more guys that would say, I'm not going. And so I was a little surprised. What was Avery Bradley, who actually, his reason.
Andy didn't, though.
Was
Andy thought they would show.
He did.
Yep.
But he's about really he's got a good reason too. He's got a 6-year-old with a respiratory
Very good
issue, so no one is really blaming him. I know Justice Winslow, the Grizzly, was sort of iffy. That's what he said on NBA TV. He decided he was going to go. I honestly thought there would be more, so I'm pleasantly surprised that everybody pretty much is on board.
Well, here's the other thing, too, and I talked to the Players Association about this. This date a couple days ago where players had to alert their teams if they are or are not planning on going, realistically, the league will not have this hard and fast rule. If a player wakes up tomorrow and says, you know what, I just don't feel comfortable going due to family concerns, what have you, they will still be able to opt out and go. It's not necessarily I still think you can see some other players opting out. And I do still think, look, we're going to probably have more positive tests here in the coming weeks. And teams will have to decide if these players are not fully recovered by them and symptom-free and COVID-free by the time they have to report down to Orlando around July 8th or July 9th, depending on what team you play for. They will then have to use this mechanism that the league is allowing them to use to sign replacement players. And fortunately, we've already had some success with that and had a couple players already signed as what's called a substitute player. And I think there's going to be a lot of job opportunities for other players because you're going to see more positive tests, I do believe. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my feel. And there's probably going to be players that may just not feel comfortable by the time they get down to Orlando in this training camp mode that they're in between the middle of July and when games start on July 30th. And there could be more players that are down there that decide to leave. And the league and these teams, they will not prohibit them from leaving if they just feel that uncomfortable.
By the way, we're getting some breaking news now. 14 new Clemson football players have tested positive today. That brings the total amount of Clemson players, over a third of the team now, to 37. And, we were just – basketball's a little bit different. Even though Gino Auriemma basically said we weren't allowed to shake hands afterwards, but we sweated on each other. We touched the same ball, and that's what you're going to get down in Orlando. Exactly. But football, the whole point is you're going to grab somebody and take them to the ground. It's going to be tough not to spread the disease unless you don't have the disease. And Brett, I know you expressed your doubts about college and high school football, but this is another example where it really would be tough if we're going to see this all the time.
I mean, that's the thing. You have to be aware that basketball, just like football, is a full contact sport. And you can sit there and tell players, don't shake hands, don't hug other players, kind of dapping them up when you see them. Oh, by the way, go out there and everyone's sweating on one another, touching the same basketball, just like you mentioned in football. Full contact. You got a lot of banging down low in the post. You've got players naturally going to walk back to their bench, high-fiving teammates. And it's human nature in competition to sit there and kind of do a lot of these things. And these players are not wired to do anything differently than compete. And they're not out there thinking, oh, my gosh, I can't do this or I can't do that or I should avoid this lest I get this virus. They're going to go out there and they're going to play the game as they know how to play it. And I do think, unfortunately, that carries a greater risk. You can sit there and provide all the testing you want, but again, as we all know, there's nothing that can stop someone from contracting this virus. And it just does become very difficult. And I just think we have to kind of take it one day at a time. I think
I think we lost you there for a second. I don't know if there was a big wave from you're on the beach, Lake Michigan wave hit you. You were basically saying it's a one day at a time thing.
No, absolutely. You can't get too caught up and sit there and think we're going to be fine. I mean, this thing could crumble. I hope not, but it could fall apart in a week or two. It could fall apart after training camp before we even get to the July 30th start date. So it's great that we've come this far, but there's still a long ways to go.
Long ways to go to crowning a champion, but if we can get to basketball, it will maybe allay some fears and have some sense of normality. We sure look forward to it, Andy, and I know you do. And we're going to get the schedule reveal at 6:00 tonight, and all eyes around here will be on the Grizzlies schedule. What do you think it will look like pertaining to the Grizzlies, and what should we really be looking forward to?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're just taking I know this is what was talked about. They're going to take the remaining schedule that the Grizzlies had as of roughly March 11th.
That's right.
It
falls right in order.
Yeah, exactly. And remove the teams that obviously the 8 teams that are not in Orlando. And so, look, they're going to have some tough opponents. They're going to have a big game right off the bat if this is the case with their schedule against Portland, which is a huge game. They got Utah, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Milwaukee. So they've got some tough games ahead if this is how the schedule will go. And it's going to be a dogfight for that 8th and final spot in the West. So it's great the Grizzlies are holding the 8th seed down right now, but look, it's far from over. You got to think of this almost as a whole new season.
Do you think it will be those first 8 games to determine this maybe play-in or the Grizzlies grab the 8th seed? Do you think it'll be rough? Do you think they'll be rusty? What is Brandon Clark is one of your clients? What has he said about guys in shape?
Well, I don't think so much. I think players are going to be in shape because they're going to have here a few weeks of practicing in their home market and with the Grizzlies in Memphis just working out. And they're going to go to Orlando. They're going to have a handful of weeks, like we've talked about before on the show, right? I still do firmly believe that one thing the Grizzlies have going for them is their youth. And the fact that, a lot of these players have not had access to a gym during this quarantine, during the pandemic, the last 3 months. But youth and time is on the side of these young Grizzlies players to go out there and play well. And look, a lot of them have been finding ways to stay in shape, doing some cardio, playing pickup here and there. And not every team and not every player has that available to them. So I do think it could be rocky the first few games, but I think that's going to be applicable across the board. And I do think, within the first few days, after the first maybe 3 or 4 days, I think teams and players will find a stride and feel much more comfortable. I do think there's the risk of injury, but you also have to look at it so I look at it, right? Like Spain, there's basketball being played in Spain and Germany and Israel. And I have players in all those markets with teams in those leagues. They have the exact same concerns, and they've been sitting at home, not having access to a gym to play 5-on-5, just like the Grizzlies players haven't had, or any NBA player this whole time for that matter. And it's the same concern, and they kind of got off to a slow start. But again, really by games 3 and 4, after a good amount of time spent with their own team, you're right back into it. And like I said, it's very beneficial that the Grizzlies are these core of younger players that will definitely help them in terms of kind of revving it up here for the start of Orlando. You'd like to think that you'll see the Grizzlies in quote-unquote mid-season form potentially as early as the first week of August, but time will tell. I mean, no one really knows how this is going to go. You can always just speculate, you can hope, and you can do your best, but I would say players aren't going in there thinking they're just going to go ahead and hit their stride in the first game and be at 100% from a conditioning standpoint. I think everyone realizes that.
It would be hard to do, Andy, and you know of famous pickup games that NBA players have participated in, and maybe even some infamous ones with a finessing of the rules that been accused by the Los Angeles Lakers of maybe playing in. And that's one thing that I wish the NBA would defend itself on. These players have been playing in games roughly the last 4 to 6 weeks. If it's safe to play in those games back home at a church gymnasium or a home gymnasium or a very nice facility in the town, why are we so scared of once we get to Orlando of having those games? Because it'll be safer in Orlando than back at home.
Well, I think the other thing you have to remember is most players really aren't going out there and playing in these pickup game settings. And again, the other thing to remember as well is the players out in those games, the NBA level players, are not out there competing at 100%. They're using that as a way to stay in shape and condition, but they're very cognizant of doing anything that might incur injury, doing anything that might expose them greater to contracting the virus. And that's all out the window once you get down to Orlando when these games matter more than any other game they've potentially been playing this whole time. So I think there's just a different dynamic to it. And I think that, look, even in Orlando, those same players that have been playing in these informal pickup games and in the gym these last few months, they're still down there in Orlando. But along with those groups of players are there other teammates that have these concerns that may not have been sticking themselves in a gym, going out there playing 5-on-5 this whole time. So if you kind of look at it from a macro perspective, I still think there's a lot of concern among players. And look, like I said, the NBA to the end. Do not want to report. And I've talked to a number of teams recently, specifically on some players that I've signed as substitute players, and they've very adamantly, first thing they say is, look, family comes first, your health comes first. We're not going to have our players risk their health or their family's health just to be down here playing. So I really think they're going about it the right way. And just with everything we have access to in terms of information, they're taking that into account, and they're doing the best they can. The bottom line is nobody knows what's going to happen.
You mentioned, I think it was Germany, Israel, maybe Spain was the
Right.
third one, where they have restarted. Have they had any kind of COVID problems where guys have gotten sick and they've had to take them out and isolate them and kept the games on? I mean, what's the protocol? What are the procedures like there if they've already begun?
Well, they have begun. Luckily, unfortunately, there have not been many reported cases. Now, I say reported. The procedures are as such. You got all the teams who are playing, and it's not every single team in these leagues. It's a tournament style, so there are already some teams that seasons are done now. They are in one central hotel and one central site. For example, in Spain, everyone is in Valencia, and they're allowed as a team to go out and leave the hotel once a week for a team dinner. Other than that, they've got meals available to them in the rooms. They're all staying one person per room. No families can come, and it's very regimented when they get to the gym. They have to enter one way. The teams who might be practicing before them, there's a gap in between so they can sanitize everything. They have to leave a different exit than as they came in. They don't have access to locker rooms. So they're taking it very seriously, trying to protect these players' health. And look, so far, so good. Like I said, there's not really been an influx of cases, and they've gotten through now 2 to 3 weeks worth of games.
Wow. That is, and the good, I mean, it's regimented. It's got to be tedious. I don't think it'll be as long as the NBA's whole thing. We know the NBA is going to let, once you get one round through and you're down to just the 8 teams, then families can come. It'll probably be a little bit nicer in the bubble for all of them. The thing that intrigued me the most, though, out of all that was that they haven't had cases, and they've now come back, been together for a while, and we're not talking about a lot of them. That's so. Right now, we know we've got 16 players out of 302 that tested positive, but now they're going to all be back together. Will we keep that low amount? Because we know they're all going to stay in one place. The PGA Tour keeps getting new cases, not a lot, but here and there. But they're traveling from city to city.
Right. And look, the other thing too, you have coaches, you have staff. I mean, I know of one NBA team that has 3 of their players who have already tested positive. So, like we talked about, 16 out of 302 is a nice number. But again, you've got one team that's competing for a playoff spot that has a fifth of their team already testing positive, and we don't know what that's going to look like 2-3 weeks from now when everyone has to get down to Orlando and start practicing as a team. So there's still a lot of unknowns, and some teams have major concerns more so than others. I definitely think you can see those numbers rise.
All right, my friend. You stay healthy in Chicago, and we'll be talking more about this as it goes on, and hopefully, like I say, those numbers stay at about the pace that we've seen them. Be healthy. I'm glad you made it to Chicago.
Sorry?
I said be healthy. I'm glad you made it safely to Chicago.
I think I lost you guys.
That's
Hello?
okay.
There we go.
Thank you, Andy.
Sorry about
there
that.
You go. That's okay, Andy. Thank you much.
Thank you, Andy.
We
Be
appreciate
safe.
it.
All right, y'all have a good weekend. Thanks again.
You too.
You got it. Thank you, Andy.
Our agent down in Chicago, that is Andy Schiffman, brought to you in part by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, home of the Visa cards. If you want to get into the 2020s, that new technology that saves you money, lasts a long time, these systems, and cools your house, this is the perfect time to get a new air conditioning system because Conway has teamed up with Carrier and with Visa, and they will give you a $1,500 gift card, a Visa card, if you get a Carrier Infinity system. Now, If your system needs 2 units, oh, right, now we're talking about $3,000 in Visa cards. If you're going anywhere this summer or you want to make a staycation in your backyard, these Visa cards come in handy. And if that's not enough, says John, I got more for you. I'll help you get the dust out of your home. I'm going to give you an April air cleaner. I'm going to give you a 10-year parts warranty. That's free. I'm going to give you a Nest thermostat. Newest, latest, greatest. It's free. Plus, with Conway, easy payment plan. Systems as low as $139 a month. John likes to say, now you know why it's the perfect time to get into 2020. All you got to do is make the call. And by the way, you'll be dealing with Conway. There's 8,000 Google 5-star reviews on the service. It's award-winning every time. Just make the call. 384-3511. 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Well, we got good news yesterday, and that was that the USL is coming back. It will be in AutoZone Park. They will be in Group G. There will be a 16-game season followed by a 16-team playoff. We're going to head to AutoZone Park here in just a minute. The president of the Redbirds and of 901 FC is Craig Unger, and he is next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
This is Dave Wolf, President and General Manager at Southland Casino. I want everyone to know that Southland is ready to welcome you back. We have a new program in place to help us all stay safe. So if you're ready to play, the most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South is open for you. Blackjack is live, the slots are rolling, and our clean team is on the job. So make this short trip to Southland Casino. Together we'll play it safe.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Hey, clones, you've heard me talk about Walmart delivery before, but now Walmart has the fastest delivery service yet. Walmart Express Delivery. Get groceries and more delivered from their door to yours with no contact delivery in 2 hours or less. Zero markups. Same low price as in-store. Don't let work, kids, an at-home workout, or whatever else life throws at you right now get in the way of getting what you need when you need it. Try Walmart Express Delivery today. Restrictions and fees do apply.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Halfway home on our final hour here, brought to you by Homer. And by Genesis of Olive Branch, Hyundais and Genesis luxury cars. What a way to go. All in one building, right in Olive Branch, down Lamar. It's Highway 78 at State Line Road. The very first exit's Craft Road. You turn left, you'll be there. You'll be there at where, well, I think it's the standard for the way car business should be done. 0% financing for 84 months. Now, that's their latest motivation with this caveat. 120 days to make the first payment on select models. They know it's the pandemic. You might have been out of work for a while, and now you're back. And in 4 months, you've got the payment for that wonderful car that you're not going to pay interest on. This is why they've always got ways to make it easy for you to get into the latest technology. And these cars, what a great product. Technology with safety, technology with performance and durability, because with every new Hyundai or every new Genesis luxury car, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Can't beat it. Please go see my guys. Go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. So we got the good news yesterday. I mentioned it already. The USL is going to be back and playing in AutoZone Park. Their leader, Craig Under, that of the Redbirds, too. We'll ask him a little bit about baseball. But let's start with the USL and the good news that you got back with a 16-game season. You're going to be in Group G. And I guess that is with Charlotte and Birmingham. You guys are going to play in AutoZone Park. Are there going to be people? Craig, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. How are you?
Great.
Good. That remains to be seen. I think, our first goal as we've been sort of checking the boxes here on the return to play was, to get the team back on the field, to get them training. I will say is, much like you saw, throughout the, different, media reports on, the PGA Tour and University of Memphis, we've been in constant contact with, the Shelby County Health Department, the city of Memphis, on the best way to do that. Those plans are in the works now. And, I think in the end that, the most important thing is look, we don't know yet, and it's going to be dependent on, are people wearing masks? Are people practicing the social distancing that they need to do? Or how are we doing as a community? In the end, this is a community club. What Memphis 901 FC is about, it's about Memphis. It's about our community. And the only way we want to do this is if it's the right time and it's the healthy and safest thing for our community. So we'll work with, the proper authorities on that. I will say that, we have been talking to, experts here locally, experts nationally on all of that as well, too, to put together the safest protocols that we can possibly do. And I think we'll have a good plan, and we'll be hopeful that, all the things fall into place the right way that we can welcome some fans back. I think it's safe to say that we all know it's not going to be 9,000 what we had on March 7th. It's going to be reduced, but in the end, we think that we can put together a pretty good plan.
Craig, life comes at you fast. You mentioned March 7th. That day in downtown Memphis, you had 9,000. The Grizzlies that night for the game against Atlanta had about 16,000. Downtown, the Jenners Association was having their convention. They had 4,000 or 5,000 people in town. Downtown was hopping. It was like the virus was way over there in Wuhan. A few days later, it came right into our doorstep, didn't it?
Yeah, I think I've looked back a few times on that night, look, we were actually pretty in tune with what was going on. I think if you look back on that night, both the NBA, USL, we had both put in some, limited restrictions on, access to the facility, locker rooms, sort of what was sort of going on with the players, no autographs and that type of stuff. I believe at that time, if I'm not mistaken, we had one case in Shelby County. There was one confirmed case. And all of a sudden it was, that night, and it was great. It was so much fun here. I mean, it was sort of this, celebration coming back and off of a great, first year that we had, opening up. It was just so much fun. And it was, just a couple days later, that things really started to, I think the reality of what was sort of going on, maybe not here at that time, but in other parts of the country, it was a reality. And then we were faced with, a couple months of some uncertainty. And now I think, is much like you're seeing with other sports and everything else, is that, look, I think, people are understanding that there's still risks out in our community. There's still risks in the things that we do. By going to church, it's a risk. It's by going out to eat, it's a risk. But there are some calculated risks now that we all sort of realize, to know that, look, there's certain precautions that we all take when we go out and do things, and we go places and go to the grocery store, whatever the thing may be. And the reality is, we're going to have to live with the virus in our community, in the world, for the coming months. And that's why, again, we looked at some of the best experts, including people here at University of Tennessee, to help us with putting together the best plan at all. It's been an interesting couple months, though.
Boy, it just hit me. March 7th, you said one case. Here we are, 8,840 later, in the middle of June, and trying to figure this all out. Will you get guidance from the USL? When I say that, I know you're going to talk to our health department and UT health department and all those others that you mentioned, but you are going to travel to Birmingham, and you're going to travel to Charlotte, and I'm trying to remember where North Carolina FC, the other member of your group, and are they going to have fans in, or is that up to each individual government wherever you go?
Yeah, it's largely local, driven. Is we've released through the league, I believe it's a 47, 51 page document with a lot of the health protocols that relate to the players, the facilities. When I say the facilities, there's a few pages on the actual seating facilities and that type of stuff, but a lot of that's going to be left up to how do we do that best for our community. A lot of the stuff that's in that document is about the players' health and locker rooms and cleaning protocols and keeping them safe and travel. It's why we realigned the groups this year. I mean, if you followed us last year, or you started at the beginning of this year, USL was really divided into the East and West, and we were in the East, and you played every single team in the East, which included Hartford, Pittsburgh, Red Bull. You had all these different teams that you played once at home and once on the road, which necessitated a lot of travel, a lot of different moving parts inside there. And as we started to put back together what we were going to do, it became that the most reasonable and the easiest thing to do from a travel perspective is do things that in somewhat nearby markets, travel synergies that we can do, looking at how we can construct the schedule, knowing that we're going to have a compressed time frame. And we limit the travel that, the nice part is going to Charlotte, we can choose the bus. We can also choose to fly because there's direct flights from here to Charlotte, versus when you look at going at places up to the Northeast, you're spending a lot more time on a plane. You're connecting through Atlanta. You're connecting through other places. You're connecting through Charlotte, right? Is now we can sort of create some synergies on travel there. With Memphis and Birmingham nearby, it's a busable type of situation. For those teams that are in our division, we're going to play each one of them twice at home and twice on the road. You're going to play them 4 times. And it really sort of creates this World Cup type atmosphere and sort of these group stages. And I think really that these are teams that we're going to see a lot more of in the future, build these rivalries with them, build the familiarity with our fans and with everybody else around them, because that's really what the passion is about. It's community, soccer, as you look around the world in England, it is community against community. That's what it's really built on. It's these, city versus city. And that's what we want to sort of continue to build off of, is that, it's us against Charlotte. It's us against Raleigh, where North Carolina FC is based at.
Craig, have you looked out at AutoZone Park? A lot of beautiful Saturday and Sunday afternoons and weeknight afternoons, and it really hurt and tugged at you, because I know I've been downtown a time or two. I've parked in the parking garage. I've looked longingly into the ballpark. I miss the heck out of it. I think I do, and I know it's hurt you.
It's killed me. It has been, first of all, it is my body. I have been in professional sports now for, I think, pretty close to 15 years. My body is not programmed to be at home.
We are like vampires.
April, May, June, and now heading to the 4th of July of what, July 3rd would have been our biggest night of the year for baseball. Looking at those, my calendar still pops up on my phone for every soccer match, every baseball game that was on there this year. when I was at home, during the stay-at-home orders, and even for a period after that, people that I'd be on on the Zoom calls that we've all done 1,000 of, people say, "Where are you at?" "I'm at my house." And they say, "Well, why don't you go into the stadium?" I said, "Because it's depressing."
Right.
It hurt to sort of go there. We came back, I guess, probably full time in here about a month ago. Where we had a little bit more, ideas to what the future was going to look like, and that soccer was likely going to happen, and we really had to sort of ramp up things that we were doing inside the building. But yeah, I sit at home on some Saturday nights, and again, that calendar reminder pops up, and you look at the weather, and we've had some spectacular weather here this spring of low humidity, 80 degrees at 7:00 on a Saturday night. It's been hard. I think now it's the light at the end of the tunnel is that, look, we're going to get to have some events here. We get to, again, even under a limited part where we're going to have limited fans in, our soccer matches this year will be on, CW30. They'll be televised on CW30, that at least we get to create some, sports. Said this 1,000 times, is that sports brings people together. Sports is that unifier. Sports is the thing that we all come to. Baseball was that in 2001. There have been things throughout our time that baseball is that, or sports is that thing that sort of just it's that sense of normalcy. Even if we got to sit and watch on TV, we'd rather be in the park. I'd rather watch it on TV and be able to root for my team and take part in that and feel the passion and feel the things that go on with it. Have something to talk about right on the radio the next day. Good or bad.
Tell me about
it. We can't wait for that. So you're telling me July the 11th, I think that's the first Saturday night that you're going to try to play, or the USL is going to try to play. That game will be on CW30?
Well, it's whenever they, again, I don't know our exact schedule yet. Right now the target is, July 11th on there. I think that there's going to be, there'll be some other nights. I know that with our ESPN deal as well through the league, there's going to be some other nights as well, because, with USL starting up on July 11th, I mean, there will be some matches on July 11th. I just don't know if that's us. But with USL starting on July 11th, we're going to be the first, sports league in the country playing matches in home cities and playing in those parks. And that was important to us. It was important for people to be in the community. And yeah, when we play, it's going to be on CW30, and we're going to have those matches on there, which I think will be great. To allow people to, tune in and,
no doubt.
And, support Memphis and support the community in different ways. And again, just it's going to be different live programming that you can wrap your brain around and understand and have that normalcy back.
Craig Unger.
And Craig, I'm sorry, Dave. Craig Unger joining us from Memphis 901 and the Memphis Redbirds. And we've said many times the tidal wave of momentum you had built up with Memphis 901 and what we've worked through with the Redbirds over your tenure, over your tutelage, and to have this, we're close on time. This is almost. I know you could and informatively go 2 days with this one. The future of minor league baseball. It's safe in Memphis, but it is definitely a lot of moving parts in it going forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. And I mean, you can, for people who haven't done it, because the story is not, hasn't been overly prevalent here, because look, there's going to be baseball in Memphis. There is, there is a negotiation going on between, minor league baseball and Major League Baseball that, potentially looks at, a number of teams leaving minor league baseball and some things changing, some restructuring. The good news is that, here in Memphis, AutoZone Park is safe. The Redbirds are safe. Baseball here is safe. But, I think that when you look at just sports in general is, there's going to be some challenges up ahead. The business has changed. And, for us to lose a season with the Redbirds, this is, you think about I've told people, as you look at their last game last year was somewhere around Labor Day for the Redbirds. Right now, it's probably pretty realistic that we're going to not play until sometime next spring. That's 585 days without a game.
Wow.
It's 585-ish days without ticket revenue.
I know.
It's 585 days without fans. And concessions, and the stuff that really makes our business go. And I think if that you think about that for any business, whether that's a restaurant, any sports team, anything of what that could do or what it would do to a business and all the things that are supported around it. That's been hard. It's been hard to, sort of see that. And I think that, look, we're in a good position here. I feel good about, where things are going to go in the spring. And, we've got some reality we have to deal with here in the short term. But yeah, it's been a challenging year.
When you say, and you put it in great perspective, 580-something days, in all those days, the bills keep coming in. You still got to pay the electric. You still got to pay for your internet. And we feel for you. And I feel for everybody because we're all going through the same darn thing. And that is why this beginning with at least a product on your field in AutoZone on July 11th or thereabouts is so important for our spirits. I really believe that. And I guess, we know it's going to be on TV. Have you done, I'm sure you have, configurations with 6 feet of social distancing? What do you think you can get in that ballpark if they let you do it?
Well, again, that's part of the plan that we're putting together. We'll present that to the health department. We'll present that to the city. And sort of work through some of the different challenges that we have in the building. I think it remains to be seen. There's some operational challenges that, when you, as we've all sort of learned of going through, of navigating our daily lives with, the virus in and around us is, you become much more aware of things that you touch more often, areas that, that you have to be worried about sort of disinfecting on a regular basis. So there's some things that we're still beginning to work through. We're looking at, best practices. We're talking to a lot of other venues. And again, we're leaning a lot on the experts and, having ongoing conversations with Shelby County Health. They've been very transparent with us, and we have been having some good conversations as to what their expectations are. Because in the end, as I said, we want this to be good for the community. We want coming back to play, fans, no fans, whatever it is, we want it to be good and safe for the community, understanding there's always risk. There is always going to be risk in anything that we do, any business that opens up, anything that's there. We're the same.
A foul ball.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have to just make sure that when we do it, that it's the right thing for this community, and that is, that is our ultimate goal. And again, we'll see. Again, I'm hopeful that there will be some fans that will be able to present a plan that is safe. But look, I'm very aware of what's going on in the community. I carry a copy of the health directive with me. I carry a copy of the return to play protocols with me all the time to cross-reference things and to have these conversations. And look, we'll go through this process as we've learned, even with Memphis reopening, and our community is that there's been phased-in approaches and things that were not good 2 weeks ago are okay today. And there have been all sorts of different stuff that has happened. So I don't get caught up in what's going to happen in 3 weeks. It's day to day, and we kind of take the news as it comes and apply it. And we'll reach a point where we'll, in an agreement of what it is. The good news is we're going to be playing soccer until, end of September, early October. The season will end in the end of October. We'll adjust along the way as well. We're nimble like that. We're very good at operating this facility. So I feel really good about, what we're going to be able to do over the next 3-4 months.
Craig, can't thank you enough for giving us that good news,
Craig.
And we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully I see your face there.
Best wishes.
Sometime in the middle of July. Thank you so much.
Well, we look forward to, we'll hopefully have a schedule next week or so and get that out there and be able to talk about some more specifics as it relates to actually playing and, getting some people excited about watching some matches.
Craig Under, he is the president of the Redbirds and of 901 FC. Thank you, my friend. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
We take a quick time out. When we come back, this whole program, this whole Friday's just gone by so quickly. We got crunch time. Don't go anywhere.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hertz. Weekdays from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Are you a business owner looking for funding? Greenbox Capital is here to help by providing easy working capital loans in as little as 24 hours. Visit gboxcapital.com/apply now to fill out a short form and get started today. With funding from $3,000 to $500,000, Greenbox Capital can help. Visit gboxcapital.com/apply now to receive a special offer of 10% off cost of working capital. gboxcapital.com/apply now and get business funding needed without stress from traditional lenders. gboxcapital.com/apply now. Fast funding for small businesses.
Hi, it's the Herd. Start your day with M-Drive Start. It's the world's best morning shake. New from the guys at M-Drive. Start is packed with elite-level nutrition and protein. Fires up your body, gives you the lean look we're looking for. Shirts coming off in the summer. M-Drive Start has an industry-best 7 clinically tested ingredients and 6 sources of protein to support energy, recovery, and lean muscle. It also includes digestive enzymes, collagen, vitamins. The list goes on. No other morning shake touches this formula. Get elite-level nutrition and protein so you feel great in the morning. Check it out at mdrivestart.com. You wake up looking for energy, you've got your product. And as part of the launch, the guys at M-Drive are offering 25% off if you sign up for their easy-to-manage subscribe and save. So go to mdrivestart.com, try it yourself. Elite level nutrition. M-Drive Start.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We busy with the deal, we get insane.
Final portion of our show. It's brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Okay, the weekend's almost here, and you may be thinking about the 4th of July, too. Well, where are you going to go to stock up? You're going to go to the place that's the most convenient, that has the most friendly service, that will bring everything out to you, that will basically take care of you. I've been doing it for a long time, since 1969. You're going to the Spirit Shop, that little log cabin right there at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar. That log cabin right down the street from Clark Tower. You've passed it by a million times. You've been in it for our wonderful remotes that we've had there. You've gone, how have they got so much stuff in this little place? It's really not that little. And now they're bringing it out to you. They make it so easy. So if you are looking for that new, incredible, up-and-coming wine, or you want an established great wine, or you want tequila or bourbon, or maybe it's that Michael Jordan tequila, a $1,300 bottle? I think Eddie's got it. He's got everything. All you got to do is go to see the Connor family. They love to chat with you. Call ahead and give them your credit card number, pay for everything, and then when you get there, show an ID, they'll bring it right out to you. You can't beat it. Time to stock up for the weekend or the 4th of July. Go see my friends at the Spirit Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Woo! Woo!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave, I learned today that in 6 minutes, Grizzlies schedule reveal. I'm excited about it. We know who it's going to be, but we'll see times and dates and maybe TV, and it could be a lot of afternoon basketball. We could have breaking news a lot of days and running scoreboards and box scores a lot of days.
We could be sitting in this studio watching the game as we go. That'll be a lot of, we should have at some point.
Won't it be great?
We'll be watching baseball and we'll be watching NBA. Wow, wouldn't that be something? I learned today Phil Mickelson is still relevant. He's gone back-to-back great rounds to shoot 13 under and has a 1-stroke lead halfway through the Travelers. I learned today that the Indy 500 plans on going with a crowd on August the 23rd. We had the Kentucky Derby saying they were going to have some people. How about this? 50% capacity, they said. You know that it seats 235,000? Over 400,000 with those in the infield. They're saying.
And you said the key word, though. Plans.
Exactly.
Expectations, plans,
exactly.
Fluid. Could have done without. The San Francisco Giants for $100 will allow you to have a cutout image of yourself in your season ticket at that great ballpark. And if you're going to do that, make sure it's at a good angle, knock off a few pounds, add a little more hair that you used to have. But it should be fun to look out there and see yourself at the ballpark.
They should give you that. Come on. That's
$100.
That's chintzy.
Times are tough, Dave.
They are. I could have done without the news now. We've got 37 Clemson players that have COVID after 14 of them today. And I could have done without this. The Oregon State rivalry, which is a great rivalry in football and basketball. It's always been called the Civil War. It had no connotation at all to the Civil War. And they just said, it's just politically incorrect. We're changing the name.
I don't think that ever entered my mind, but that's those good people's business, and everybody can handle their business as they see fit, keeping a close eye on locally if the Mississippi State Legislature will do anything and if the governor will sign anything. Also, we'll keep eye on the Travelers, baseball players reporting, being tested, everything going on from Orlando. There's a lot going on this weekend in college football. We'll see what they do.
Well, we'll see in 2 minutes what the Grizzlies are going to do when that schedule comes out. We thank Brian Geltzeiler, Craig Way, Glenn Rogers, Andy Schiffman, and Craig Under. That'll do it for me for a couple of weeks. I'm going to take some time off. But Drew and, of course, Brett, they will carry on. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. 5 Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At O'Reilly Auto Parts, we'll help make your auto repair, maintenance, and restoration projects easier. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, our professional parts people will help you find the brake parts and supplies you need to do the job right the first time. Now, for a limited time, get 15% off a set of Brake Best pads and 2 rotors. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.